like this. I'm not sure why we have this extra mic in my face. Thank you.
I can just use 2.
You'll need them.
Mm-hmm. There we go. This feels right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You megalomaniac.
It's like, I want all the mics. Give me all of them.
All right, do you want me to mute the mics before when I'm playing the intro, or are you just gonna? Are you guys okay with just being quiet?
We'll just be quiet.
Okay.
Before.
Okay. All right.
We could be grown-ups.
All right, I'm gonna play, and then I'll let you know when it's running towards the end. And all right, here we go.
Welcome to Blamestorming. Blamestorming. In a post-truth world, there's plenty of blame to go around. Plenty of blame to go around. Plenty of blame to go around. Join Dave Cyrus and Marissa Smith as they blamestorm about today's hot topics.
I think our audience agrees with me. It's really long. I feel like I'm speaking for them.
Hey guys, welcome to Blamestorming.
Hi.
I've got an impatient Dave Cyrus with me.
That was a ridiculously long song. We're going to cut that, right?
The reason why I did it long, and I'm Marissa Smith because I can't even introduce myself. So the reason why I did the long version is because, like, the short version, everyone is still talking. So I kind of wanted to have, like, a moment of settling down. It's kind of like the quiet share.
Okay, well, I am dead set against that. That was...
Well,
It's pretty funny.
I would have turned it off.
It's pretty funny just to hear it and hear just someone go, is this the version? This seems really long.
I mean,
funny.
at some point I felt like if I didn't say it, the audience was going to say it and hang up. I got really antsy about how long that was going for. I'm sorry. Once Nigel stops talking, I feel like we should start, the show.
Yeah, but we were doing that. It wasn't working because people were talking through the short version. So I just felt like people needed to have some time to reflect and be quiet for like 2 seconds so then we could kick off the show. But we're going to kick off the show now if that's okay, Dave.
Yeah.
All right.
Why don't you play a new song?
Yeah, we're gonna do another intro song. But
to give Dave time to quiet down.
Yeah,
I mean,
because someone needs settling.
I was the only one who was listening to the song, like really listening.
That's true.
And it's a very long, repetitive song. I'm sorry. I know.
Can I bring our guests on?
I guess.
Are you gonna be okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. So we've got Walker Hayes with us.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
And I've got Rannon Hirschberg with me.
Not one of the options.
I'm so busy arguing with Dave, like a completely fucked up thing. How do you pronounce your name?
It's Ranan.
Ranan.
The way you said it sounded like one. Do you all remember the ET ride at Universal?
Yes.
Remember they would type in everyone's name?
Yeah.
And at the end, so my whole family has normal names, and we would go through it, and at the end, ET would be like, "This is what he did." He said, "Bye, Ben. Bye, Rachel. Bye, Renan." And that's kind of how you said it. You said it like ET.
Oh, okay.
But that's okay too.
That was a great ride for kids whose parents wanted to screw with them and not tell them in advance that they were putting their name in.
I really thought you were going to say that was a great ET impression. And
it was that too.
It was a little bit of both.
If this whole thing just became an argument about the opening intro, it would be the greatest podcast episode of all time. It just kept on going.
I'm open to that. I'm open to that because, the guy's got a great voice and everything, but...
You don't like Nigel anyway.
Yeah, I just feel...
You mockingly named him Nigel. We have no idea what his name is.
That's not mocking. He clearly sounds like his name is Nigel.
You really do blame people on this podcast.
Yeah.
It's really,
in keeping with
yeah.
Yeah.
You started blaming right away.
I mean, like blaming me for the fact you can't remember a name from 2 minutes ago? This is...
We're blaming you that you can't be quiet for
the
like
snake is
45
eating
seconds.
its tail.
All right.
Definitely.
All right. Anyway,
Speaking of snakes, Walker, did you hear?
Thank you for the intro.
Did you hear about DJ Khalid or
Jesus Christ, Marissa.
I'm fucking whatever his name is.
I don't know how it's pronounced.
By the way, for someone with an inexplicable Y in your name, you should be more respectful of how people pronounce their weird names.
Yeah, but my last name is Smith, so like you can't get more common than that.
Is it Khalid?
Yeah, Khalid.
DJ
It's Khalid.
Khalid?
Khalid. Well, it's
Yeah.
Khalid. It's
Khalid.
the name
I've
is
never heard him say it really long and
Khalid would
I've
be what the
never-
name.
I don't know.
normally
I
be.
actually didn't know who he was.
He says his name so many times.
He does.
I don't even think I've ever heard one of his songs.
I don't know
He
who
doesn't
is.
have songs. He appears on everybody else's songs.
He
This
just
was-
yells his name.
I was very taken aback by this whole. I didn't know who he was or what eating pussy was. I didn't know any of it.
Oh.
No, I'm joking.
Here's the thing about
I've heard
DJ
it.
You
Khalid.
spent way too much time with E.T. apparently.
He's mostly famous for being stupid.
Yeah, right.
we're
Well, now he's
forgetting
famous
that.
for being a weight loss ambassador, so don't deprive him of that.
It's like finding out that like Honey Boo Boo didn't go to college.
this is like
isn't-
Kanye. It's like he was already kind of. It's not a surprise what happened.
At least Kanye is objectively talented.
Right.
But also DJ Khaled is not. He's not crazy. He's just not a bright guy. He's the guy who's known for his catchphrases. They don't want you to, because he's like one of those conspiracy people who doesn't really think things through.
yeah.
He
But it
just
doesn't
like
matter.
says stuff.
But this was an old interview, right?
I think it's from like 2015.
Really?
Oh, that's not that
Wait,
old.
then why is it big now?
It's like huge over the
Yeah, I
last
thought it
few
was
days.
from-
I just heard about
Wait,
it.
did Hannibal Buress just bring this up on a show or something? Like suddenly
Yeah.
caring that DJ Khaled doesn't
By
eat
the
pussy?
way, I
Yeah.
believe the Me Too thing will come full circle when Hannibal Buress goes down. I think that's how it's going to happen.
Oh,
We are terrible with
There you
names
go.
today.
Hannibal Buress.
Is
What?
that
What
the
is it?
theme
How
of
do you
today's
pronounce it?
show?
Horrible with names.
Hannibal what? How do you pronounce it?
Buress.
You can just call me
Buress.
Wackler then.
What did I
That'll
say?
be fine.
Barris?
Buress?
I think you said breasts.
Hannibal
But yeah, DJ Khaled said he doesn't. And here's the thing: you're not a monster if you don't eat pussy, unless you expect it back.
That's exactly
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Hey, everyone on the right has everyone has the right to not want to eat anything they don't want. It's
Right.
just this weird thing where he's like, "I'm the king." Sorry, I heard that too. Are we okay? Something happening? Is that everyone's phone off?
Yeah.
To mark that
I'm
because
on
we're
airplane.
hearing a lot of static. Okay, sorry guys. So yeah, everyone has the right to eat or not eat whatever they want. But he had the whole thing of like, well, I'm the king, so my wife has to do this, which I'm sure she loved to hear.
Oh boy. So you can only say you can't eat pussy if you're like, and I don't like getting blown. You have to not like both sides of it.
Oh no, you can be ambivalent
No,
about
you could
getting
just
blown.
not reference either thing.
Right.
Yeah.
You can also not
You
eat
could
pussy
just-
in
yeah.
private.
Yeah, you could just be that douchey guy that like pulls
Or
a
just
fast
say
one
I
once
don't
you get
eat
a girl
pussy,
naked.
but
Yeah.
not say like I don't eat pussy, but my wife has to go down on me because I'm the king and men need praise.
There's a lot of layers of douchiness to
Yeah,
what he did.
right,
Not only
exactly.
did he do the behavior that's douchey, he bragged about it on
Right.
the radio. So
Right.
it's a lot of layers of being a prick.
Right. Like if you tell a girl you're dating, like, listen, I have a thing with going down on you. I'm not expecting you to do it to me. I apologize. It's not something I want to do. It's disappointing, but you're not like a dick. The way
Yeah,
that like
I guess that's right.
If it's just a thing you have, whatever. Or or it's just your way of telling that girl there's something wrong with yours, so I don't want to do this.
But that's okay. So yeah, if we can like just get into the issue, the root of the issue, I think, is exactly that. Like, it's such an expectation of women. It's absolutely an expectation of women 90% of the time.
What's
I've completely
expectation?
made that
to blow.
That statistic.
That girls are expected to
If
blow,
you're,
guys.
like,
I've never heard it to blow.
to
blow or not
put
to
her
blow?
mouth
That's
on
just the
your
question.
good parts.
I'm trying to keep this pussy eating talk classy.
To blow or not to blow.
But it's not like I've said this many a time on stage. Like, it's not I don't think most girls, if you go out with a guy a couple times, I don't have the immediate expectation of the guy, and that I think is the fucked upness of it. Is like the guy for sure. Not all of y'all, but in general, I think guys expect a girl to give them oral sex, and girls are like, okay, it'd be nice if I got that in return, but it's not an expectation.
See, now for me, I feel like I'm not gonna blow someone that does not go down on me. Like I just don't do it because I feel like
You
that's
wait for the guy to do it first.
Yeah, and if he
Okay,
doesn't
good-
do
good
it,
on you.
then
I don't
do it.
I don't, but like there is something in my head that goes, I will kick us off, and then I hope there's a reciprocation, and a lot of times there's not. And I think it's insane. Like it's just weird to me. You're a heterosexual person who doesn't do every single thing possible to get the other person off.
But he's coming from
What?
from such an outdated like machismo. It's like outdated for nowadays. Like now it's like everyone likes to go down to eat pussy. Like it's
not even if you like it. Like you have failed.
Well, he's like
if the partner
Sopranos.
leaves the
Yeah.
equation.
I was going to say,
like
it's like in The
Sopranos,
Sopranos, they
yeah.
called
Yeah.
it gay
yeah
to eat pussy.
He's a whole level of machismo that's not even like current level of machismo.
He's not
By the
even in
way,
his 40s.
I'm not. Oh my God, he looks terrible.
Isn't he? I thought DJ Khaled was in his 30s.
By the way, what's interesting about The Sopranos, and I'm not. This isn't a criticism. This is obviously an
Better not
intentional,
be.
an intentional
Better
choice
not be.
of how the mafia, the same mafia guys who call you gay for eating pussy, also say, I mean, if you're in prison for 5 years, it makes sense you want to fuck a guy.
Well, they got the
Which is an intentional
mafioso
joke.
got a lot of. They have a lot of issues because they're very homophobic, but they also kiss each other on the lips. a
Right.
lot,
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's why they're like that guy's gay. I kissed him on the lips, but they have a lot of their own things going on. They're not very woke.
Hey.
The
We
fictional
don't,
mafia.
we don't want the mafia coming after us, Renata.
I mean, are there any Italians
Let's
in
be
this room?
very
Big
We're
mafia
fine.
fan base.
We're in
Yeah.
New York City. The mafia is very powerful.
You know what they call eating pussy on Sopranos in that episode?
What?
Eating sushi. It's such.
Oh yeah, it was
What are you doing eating sushi? That's what he says to
the
John.
grossest, stupidest thing. Like the very idea of criticizing someone for liking eating pussy. No, because the Khaled thing, it's more like a man who eats pussy is subservient to his
That's
woman.
so outrageous to me. And then you have Lil Wayne, who's like a superstar, and that's all he ever talks about is how much he loves
Yeah, that's
eating
what I'm
pussy.
saying. The broiest dudes now talk about eating pussy. It's not like.
But just don't
you
talk
know,
about it if it's not your thing. Like
Yeah.
he made it a point to make that statement.
See, when I saw DJ Khaled's picture, I assumed he was born in the early 50s. He just looks
before
a man like that
cunnilingus
should
was invented.
absolutely
I
be
swear
eating
to
pussy.
God, if-
he should be doing anything possible to get a chick at all. Is he crazy?
But he also looks like he'd be winded if he was doing
Am
it.
I older than DJ Khaled? This is
are.
disturbing.
The real existential moment.
Has that? I mean,
let me
I
ask-
think he was.
let
in
me
his
ask-
that
40s,
should really
but
be
maybe
his
he is.
crisis.
Well, let me
I
ask
do not
you:
know.
do you have a disdain for eating pussy as a?
no, I don't have a problem with it, but I will admit I
from
do
a-
it. I do it. I'm not like a guy who's like, oh, I got to eat that pussy. I do it because it's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm doing it because, one, I want her to blow me also, and two, because it's the appropriate thing to do
Of
sexually.
course, yes.
I don't dislike it. It's
Sure.
just like if my, like a lot of guys, if my penis isn't involved, it's essentially an intermission, and I'm just being like, well, this is just like everything else you do. You open doors,
But yeah.
you open, you walk someone home, you buy dinner, you eat pussy. It's called a little class.
I mean, I love it. I don't think I've ever. I'm not trying to like be.
But you also have a lot of facial hair, so that's fun.
I'm not. It's
You're
very
like-
much too
I mean,
pussy.
it would really be
It's
rude of you to not, if I may say so myself.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to be like sound noble, but I don't think I've ever gotten blown without eating pussy first.
That's amazing.
I feel like that's
Good
the
for
order.
you.
Yeah, but I try to. I mean, I always feel very grateful, and I always try to bring a lot to the table because I don't think I have a lot to offer. So I try to like.
Okay, but I'm not.
I also
it's
make- I also
not
wanna
true
make
for
su-
you, but so true
I also
for
wanna-
DJ Khaled. Take the money
yeah.
out of the equation. Who the fuck is blowing that guy?
I also want to make sure that I've pleased them before we have sex and when I come immediately. So I want to make sure.
Set the proper
Because
stage.
if you
Putting
have
karma
sex
in the
for the
bank.
first time and it's not too long, if it's not a long sex thing, but if you've pleased them already, you don't feel as bad.
That's probably no.
So that's
good.
that's what I tell the kids. Make them come, and then you won't feel as bad when you come quickly.
yeah. See, my thing was like the first girl I ever went down on. It was a bad experience, so I just thought that's what it was like. And then, of
Sure.
course, you date like normal women. You're like, oh, okay, this is fine. This is good. But it is one of those things where like you're doing it kind of for selfish reasons. Usually,
Everything is selfish.
You want her to either like is because you want her to like you want her to do it again, or you want her to blow you.
But also making someone,
unless you're really into it, which is good.
But also making someone come is still something that makes you feel.
I was gonna say, don't you
feel
have
good?
any pride?
But that's like,
don't these people have any pride?
But that's why I find it weird that he said that, because it's narcissistic.
It's
to
difficult
please
to make
someone
a woman
else.
come just by shoving your dick in and out of her alone. It's
Yeah.
difficult. It's not impossible, but the odds of it are much lower than
I
if you
thought
do
it was
other
impossible.
stuff.
That's really what was
It's
keeping.
not impossible,
That's what was really
but-
keeping me going this whole time.
It's not impossible, but the odds are much.
Every woman
So
has
you
told me
should
it's
want to
impossible.
you should want to do every single thing, otherwise you have failed.
But that's not, and that's not like being heroic. That's like your typical narcissistic. I want to please them.
But also, I just don't understand being with a person that you don't want to explore and do everything with. And I get it. Like, sometimes you have one-night stands or
Well, he's
whatever.
clearly
you
gay.
go home with someone and you're less into them once you're in the middle. I get that. But even still, like, this is a person that has flatly said across the board, I don't do it. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter where we're at in the relationship or anything to do with you. This is my policy, and that's insane.
Yeah.
As a heterosexual man, that is fucking insane.
But so many machismo guys do that. Like, there's that story of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Do you ever hear the story where they?
Well, he dated a skeleton and then married her and then fucked a maid who was obese and insane.
So what?
Hey, she wasn't obese. She was just very unattractive.
Yes. Okay.
She
my
wasn't
bad.
fat,
I'm
she was
using the
just-
wrong
yeah.
adjectives.
You're shaming her for the wrong thing. One time they walked in on, this is a story, they walked in on him in a trailer and he's eating out a woman. He was married at the time, and he turned to the person who walked in and goes, "Eating is not cheating."
Oh, that's hilarious.
You think, how do you
That's
feel
a
about that
phrase.
impression?
I've heard that phrase.
Is
so
that better
many
than my
times.
ET impression?
Yes, I thought that was your ET impression. And no, it's one of, like, I've been in relationships. You know what it is? It's
ET phone home.
I mean, just the fact that he bothered to say that to whatever intern knocked on the door.
It's so sleazy,
It's
right?
just despicable. He is such a gross
That's my
man.
point. I'm saying he's such a machismo guy, and he's still eating pussy.
No, good for him. And it's
Because
that does
in what
speak a little
world
well
does
to me.
that make
When do
you
you
less
think?
manly?
When do you think?
It is weird, yeah.
That's a weird thing to disassociate from masculinity. It's the female body, and if anything, that's the ultimate manly thing to do.
You know what I'm saying? He's broy from a whole different period.
It's so bizarre.
Yeah,
to
but
me.
like he seemed to like kind of say that he felt like because he was like keeping it like down at home because he was making so much money that was the reason why he didn't need to do it.
Which is true at
But
this point.
at this point, so I wonder if like when he was broke he ate pussy, and now that he's rich now he feels like he doesn't have to do it because like, you know, she's in.
Am I just eating pussy because I'm broke? Will that change when I make some money?
I mean, it's a question because like what I
don't get it. I don't get not
read-
enjoying. I don't get it. But that's,
I
guess
read
it's
the
brain.
article and he was just like, well, you know, the man is king and he needs to be praised, and the woman is queen and she needs to be praised. And if you're keeping it like locked down at home, then like, you know, you have to do it whatever way you can. I'm keeping it locked down because do you like this house that you're living in? Do you like these
gross,
clothes that you
gross.
have? I'm taking care of your family. I'm taking care of my family. So I think for him, not eating pussy is like reaching like an economic elite status that he no longer needs to eat pussy.
That's essentially the same argument as saying I don't let my wife come because I pay the bills.
Yeah,
Right.
That's
Yeah.
garbage.
Even
Sorry.
if he didn't go
But I
down on
think-
her, he's like, I make sure that I don't let her enjoy the sex at all because
Right.
that sends the wrong message.
Like, what an idiot! That's so. I don't
Well, it's very Handmaid's Tale.
It's so grimy. Wouldn't you want? Okay, just across the board in anything that you do, wouldn't you not want to feel like the praise is coming from a place that's like intrinsic to you? Money isn't intrinsic to that person.
well, I mean, he's clearly a moron.
He also
Yeah.
might have just completely resigned himself to the idea that no one could actually enjoy sex with him.
I can't even
Right,
fathom
right.
that.
That could
Yeah.
be. It could just be the idea that he looks at her. That sex is a transaction for him, and when a guy looks like that can happen, especially when he just decides, well, I need to make money because that, you know.
What does he look like? Is he not attractive?
No.
He
No.
looks like. Well, how do I put this?
He looks like
Come on,
if
Rose
all
fan.
the characters
Come
in
on.
Aladdin swallowed Aladdin. He's grimy as fuck.
He looks like.
I mean, that's not like a big picture.
That's actually a very good photo of
yeah.
him.
That's like a like.
He
it's
looks
a
like
decent photo,
Saddam
but-
on Halloween.
Yeah, yeah. It looks like he looks like a fat Is he?
Oh, he's a fat guy.
Yeah.
He's a
really-
fat,
yeah.
gross guy.
I don't
Wait,
know his background. Is he Muslim? I don't know what he is.
Yeah.
It was
I
DJ
don't
Khaled. Yeah, he's some kind of
right.
Middle Eastern. I forget what.
He looks like some fat Muslim dude from movies. Who is it? Like one of the
guy from
Indiana
Indiana
Jones
Jones? Yeah.
sidekicks or something.
Well, he looks a little bit like the guy who gets in a fight with Borat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
One of the hardest I've ever.
Only
laughed
that
when they
guy-
walk out naked.
That guy
Yeah.
probably loves pussy.
Does Indiana Jones have a fat Muslim sidekick in each one of those movies?
I think it was the same dude.
The guy in the fez.
Yeah.
The guy who wears the fez,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, he's the old fat Muslim sidekick in your adventure story. That's a fun trope.
The unfortunate
Yeah.
thing is he probably isn't Muslim. It was probably some Italian guy playing a Muslim because
Yeah.
it was the 80s.
Yeah.
And pretty much every brown person was played by a Sicilian.
Yeah, Apu was the only Indian character on TV at that time back in the day. Someone told me that the other day.
I think he still is. I mean, after Parks and Rec went off the air, I'm pretty sure we went back to zero.
No, there's an Indian show,
Well,
right?
no, there's
Isn't he from South Carolina?
There's Silicon Valley. Well, not Indian.
from.
There's,
Where he's from.
There's Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah.
He's on TV.
Well, he's
Pakistani.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't say Indian. I mean
Jinx.
Middle East. I was saying Middle Eastern.
He
in
means
general.
something that's not Mexican.
Oh, did you say Indian? I was thinking.
You're being too
I'm sorry.
specific.
Thought we were saying anyone.
No, hey,
Big
I
Bang
meant
Theory.
I definitely meant both.
I don't acknowledge Big Bang Theory's existence, but
Cooper Polly is Indian.
I think the Apu thing. I think it would be way more offensive if that was the only voice he did. It was just a white
of course,
guy doing
yeah.
one
He
voice.
is doing hundreds of voices. Now, here's the funny thing about the Apu thing that is interesting. It reminds me of Rugrats. Do you know that
I love Rugrats.
Do you remember when Rugrats, there was a controversy about the Jewish grandparents that they thought were too stereotypically Jewish? And as a Jew, and I think Renan will back me up on this, they weren't even Jewish enough to pass as
Right.
Jewish
that's funny.
grandparents.
I mean, my mom is.
I don't remember
My mom
feeling
is
that way,
literally.
but I wouldn't have noticed
My mom
probably.
is an offensive Jewish stereotype.
Right.
She literally is. If you put her in a play, just being herself, people would get offended. They were like,
you know
that's
what-
what she is.
and you know what
She's
they
an
did?
Anti-Semitic portrayal of the shit.
Yeah, in order to appease people who were offended by the Jewish stereotypes, they ethnically cleansed the show.
Right. Oh,
Yeah. And then you're left with
They
like
cleansed-
shells of
It
characters.
is a weird
They
thing.
cleansed them of the characters.
You're having Jews going. They're too Jewy.
All right, they're dead.
So did they de-Jew them?
No, they just got rid of the characters.
Oh, they got rid of them.
They just stopped having the characters on the show.
Is there an episode where they go to a
I don't know if they
concentration
brought
camp?
them. I don't know if they brought them back eventually, but I remember at the time that they said the compromise is okay. They're no longer on
So
the
who's
show.
Jewish? A main kid?
I believe. I believe. Yeah, their grandparents. I guess I don't. Chucky, was it Chucky's grandparents?
Is Chucky the red hair one?
Chucky's
don't
the
know.
redhead. I didn't remember that.
No, Chucky's not. We
It's
always
not-
think he's the redhead because the Chucky doll is red. But I think
Tommy's
the redhead.
No,
No,
Tommy's the
Tommy's the
baby.
bald baby.
Tommy's the bald baby.
I think
Chucky's the redhead.
Well, then
Yeah.
Tommy's the main character.
yeah, I think
Yes.
Tommy's grandparents.
Tommy's the main character.
Okay.
And
By
then
the,
you have
you're asking
Chuck-
if they're Jewish. What was Tommy's last name again?
What was it? I don't know.
Pickles. He was Jewish.
Oh, well, that's a little
funny,
stereotypical.
I haven't
Did you ever?
retained-
Well,
I've
speaking of
retained
stereotypical,
nothing.
it's in
Tommy
terms of.
Pickles.
Does this offend you? Did you ever see How High?
How high?
I didn't see
The
How
Method
High.
Man, Redman movie.
I mean, I've seen
Oh,
parts
yeah.
of
Do
it.
you know
I
what the
think years
villain,
ago.
the white kid villain's name in the movie?
Is it Jewy
is-
McJew?
Jeremy Picklestein.
Oh,
which
really?
is even I was as a comic, I was even like, wow.
But then you gotta look up.
the balls.
But here's the thing: you gotta look up. Was it Jew writers? Might have been.
I hope
Probably.
so. It goddamn better.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a comedy that was made. Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, Picklestein. That's pretty funny.
But yeah.
But
we can go back to pussy if you want.
I just wanted it known that if you are not taking care of the other person in the equation, you have failed. I don't
I'm
care
not
how big
a-
your dick is. It's not a present to us. You have to do other things
I'll
besides
say this:
that.
I've dated girls where that was part of the routine. They always had oral sex first, and then you had sex. But I've also dated girls who you kind of get to a point where like you both skip it. You go where you're
Sure.
We just always
Just
get
can't-
it.
I
You're
think it's
dating
weird to have
girls.
a
We get
policy
it.
where you don't do it. That actually happened
Yeah.
to me over the summer. I was dating someone for like a month. I went down on him all the time, and then at one point I was like, "Hey, I just curious about this," and he was like, "Oh, I don't do that."
well, now we
And
know
I was
why you're
like,
bringing it up.
"So gay? Is that what that is? Like,
So
you're
that's
not
why
into
you're-
women?"
That's why you're so bad.
Well, not for nothing, but like again, like this is a man in his 30s. What?
The guy you're dating.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's who you really want to talk about. Let's
No,
talk
no,
about
no.
him.
This he's
Was
not.
he? Well,
He's
let me
not
ask you
like
this:
the lone
Was
wolf.
he
I've had
also?
this happen multiple
Was he
times
also a
with people.
DJ? Because maybe it's a DJ thing.
I don't believe so, but I can't say.
You didn't know what he did?
I can't say I cared that much at that point. Well, he hadn't eaten my box in a month. Yeah, I stopped asking questions.
You didn't know what job he did?
Stopped wanting to know anything.
It's funny because it's one thing to just kind of like be selfish and just be like, and not do it. But to not do it when you're asked is an aggressive act.
It wasn't even that I asked. I posed it as like just curious because the sex wasn't even that good. I was just sort of locked in the loop of hanging out with this person.
Like, of course, it wasn't good.
I mean, sex, and I'm sure you fucked a guy where it's like, oh, the guy is good at it, but there needs to be more foreplay. This wasn't that. This was lack of foreplay, and the sex part was also
Who has
not
sex
good.
before going down? That seems weird. You got to go down.
No. You're misunderstanding. There's it's fine if you're not doing oral first. That's fine. That's not a given. But you can do other things, and you can do things while you're fucking.
Was he not doing anything?
No, he was doing nothing.
He didn't even.
He's just lazy.
Wait, he put his penis in your unaroused vagina?
Yes.
Oh god.
In your
no.
30s.
Isn't that
In your 30s.
How does that even work?
In your 30s. Who has given you no feedback by the time you're in your 30s?
And I'll say, when I said the thing about us jumping ahead, I wasn't that bad. I'm talking about like when we are both. Like,
yeah, no, and don't misunderstand. I'm not saying you have to. You can get so hyped that you just want to fuck. 100%.
Were you? I mean, I don't want to get personal, but wasn't it like dry? Weren't you dry?
No, but I like fucking. Like the idea of fucking is arousing.
Right. I mean,
but then to fuck a person that has done nothing and then is not good at fucking is the biggest letdown ever.
Yeah.
Like it's terrible.
How long did you stay in this
About 30 days.
abusive
Yeah, she
relationship?
said
About 30 days.
No. Like, I don't know. I've had sex with guys that didn't go down, but I didn't go down on him. But like the one thing I thought was weird, I had one guy that wanted to have sex that didn't want to kiss, and I don't do that.
Oh, no,
it's
that's
just
bizarre.
Yeah, he's just like I didn't have sex with him, but Lazar's just like, dude, like you can't kiss.
That's weird.
Like,
Well,
but
I've
he
done
would
that
go
when I had a
down,
cold.
but like
This has become the
well,
Howard
that's
Stern
not-
show.
That's not the same.
I have
Jewish
done-
guy, black
I
woman,
have
talking
done
about sex.
I have had sex without kissing when like one of us had a cold, which is, I don't know if that's stupid.
I don't think I could do
No,
that.
that's different.
I have done that.
This was like he said he didn't like kissing because he said that he was almost like phobic about it because he was like afraid people were gonna bite him. Like,
Okay, you did the right thing.
This guy was white,
leaving
right?
immediately.
of course.
And
But
did he say this to all women or just you?
I'm afraid
I've seen
getting bitten.
Yeah,
I feel like
I don't know.
Well, you date a lot of racist white guys, right? Don't you have a bit about that?
I don't know. They just seem to flock to me. But then I don't know. I just feel like I date a lot of like weird guys. I don't know. But yeah, he definitely.
Yes, given the previous statement, you definitely
I've dated a lot of weird
What is
guys.
that?
So we never had sex, but like we'd fool around. But like he would go down, but he wouldn't kiss me.
Because he's
Man,
in charge.
between all
then.
of our experiences,
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
have one good sexual experience.
I know.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
No,
This city is so
I'll be
full
honest,
of people that are
I've,
bad at sex.
I've never,
bad at it. Just
uh,
flatly bad at it.
I've only had the. I'm not
And to
complaining.
be fair, Walker's had a healthy cross section of men in this city, so she can speak.
Not just men. Women are terrible at it too.
Yep.
Lots of people
Healthy
in this
cross-section.
city
That's
are
a good
bad
turn
at
of
sex.
phrase. And I'm not complaining, but the only situation I've ever had where I've gone down on a woman and she hasn't blown me, and I'm not complaining, but that's the only experience I've had. I've never, I'm not. I guess I am complaining.
Oh, I've done that. Oh no, and I've done that too. I've had plenty of times where.
But that's like acceptable. You can't be like, well, you have to blow me now.
No. If I go down on a girl, if it's new, I mean, if it's like you haven't had sex before, and I go down on a girl and she doesn't blow me, that's essentially like, that's like a lottery ticket. It's like it costs you $1. Who cares?
Yeah. Well,
It doesn't hurt
I
you.
enjoy
like you don't
doing
like
it because it arouses me.
Well, I
It
don't
arouses
think,
me
David,
to
I
go
don't think
down
you
on
like
a-
going
on a
down on
person.
women. I think you see it as a chore.
Not a chore. I see it as an obligation.
You don't like it?
No. I like it if I like the girl. I don't necessarily do it if it's like a one night thing.
Yeah,
Really?
That makes
the
sense.
kind
That
of
makes
thing.
sense.
I love it.
When I've been in
That totally makes
when
sense.
I'm in relationships, it's regular. But yeah, I guess if it's like new, I don't expect to get blown either. I certainly don't like say no to it. But yeah, no, it's not something I do with every girl. Yeah, it's something I do with any girl I want to like me.
I don't know.
Well, there's bad ways to do it for sure. 100%.
Yeah.
There are guys that are so bad at it that you're like, oh my god, let's
Like,
just
stop.
fuck immediately.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, but like
100%.
I don't know, and I feel like I definitely don't always reciprocate, but I feel like if if I want to have sex, I won't. If he's going down to me first, and then like I want to have sex, like then you have to like wait, and I don't want to like wait that whole like if you're going down on him, and then like he comes, and then you're just like at this like waiting period. Like I just want to,
the waiting.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I do it.
Wait, hold on, back up a second. If you're like just blowing a guy to completion, he should absolutely reciprocate on you.
No, I'm saying like he's like I'm first. I won't reciprocate on him so we can get to the sex because I don't feel like waiting for him to like if I blow him after and then he comes and then we have to wait and then have sex. You know what I mean?
Right.
No, I would just trade oral for oral at that point. What's
but
the point of the sex?
Well, that's only if I'm not, if I don't want to have sex with him, then then I would reciprocate oral for oral.
And these guys are racists. Right? Is that what you said?
Yeah,
not all of them.
See, that's the thing. What you're saying is that, like, if for me, I do it for women for the reason that I, as a kid, thought women only did it, which is just because I want them to like me.
Uh-huh.
And for me, it was always like a utilitarian thing. Like, I want the sex to be better. I want to be good at sex, so that's what you do. But you're right.
You sound very romantic.
It's not something I do. It's not something I would do if it was the only thing that we could do.
Have you ever said, "Can I eat you out?" I think it's the utilitarian thing to do right now. Have you ever said that?
No, I imply it. It's implied by
that's
the way
actually
I
a good
do it.
question, though. So did you not do this at all in your younger days? You didn't do this until
Oh,
you were an adult and had a sense of guilt?
I did it as long as I was sexually active.
Oh, okay.
Which was starting when I was like 20. So yes.
There we go. Okay.
But I went down on girls before that. Like I said, the first time went badly. So then I didn't do it again for.
It went badly when you went down?
Yes.
How did it go badly?
Because she was irresponsible.
Okay.
Period?
That's a hygiene thing.
Yes.
Okay.
It was a
hygiene is important.
So I had
for sure.
I had a bad experience the first time, and then I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, oh, that was just her.
She didn't tell you she was on her period.
No, it wasn't that issue. It wasn't that.
Oh, it was just smelly.
A little. She had that.
Can you phrase anything gross in your ET voice, please, from this point on, to make it more palatable? No pun intended.
I think my ET voice is getting better. I don't understand. What are you saying? What was it?
I'm saying the first girl, what Walker said, it wasn't great. It wasn't a great hygiene situation.
It just smelled bad.
Yes. That was that was one of the symptoms of it. Yes.
Symptoms of
her. Yes. Of
lack of hygiene.
Yeah.
To circle back.
I'm trying to be clear that like it wasn't that I was reacting to the way they normally smell because I've been with other women and I've never had a woman be like that first girl before.
Yeah, that's rough.
So
okay. There's that.
I've never had like I don't know. Maybe I don't have a strong sense of smell, but I've never had a vagina that.
Well, I think we figured out why you love it so much.
Yeah,
Lucky bastard.
It's like, damn it! Why don't I have allergies?
Yeah, I've never had a vagina where I'm like, this smells bad.
Oh yeah, God bless you.
I guess I do have a bad sense of smell. I don't know.
Of all the 1.5 vaginas you've been with,
right? They were both delicious.
Wait, what's the half?
Excellent. Just the tip.
Probably was.
So now, did you guys hear that Spotify is removing R. Kelly's music from their streaming?
Yes, because of racism.
Well, they're saying it goes against their hateful conduct policy.
But have they removed like Michael Jackson?
No.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I didn't. So the only question I have, because it's not that they're removing them. Like you can still play these artists. They're not being featured and they're not being suggested. So you could still get on Spotify and
like
listen
what they
to
do
R.
with
Kelly.
Louis.
Let me be clear.
On Netflix.
Nothing R. Kelly did was hateful. It was just
he only
grossly
peed on people
irresponsible.
that found
I'm
it
sure
fine.
he enjoyed
Well,
it.
he didn't do it because he hated them.
He did it because he loved it.
He did it because he's a pervert.
He did it because he's a deeply.
I'm gonna sound really out of
Yes.
What did he do again?
He pissed on a kid.
But she was underage.
Well, that and then
Allegedly-
he also started a sex cult.
He allegedly definitely pissed on that kid.
Yeah.
Yes.
He pissed on an underage
And
person.
now it's because he had what is an alleged sex cult, which, like other cults, the question becomes, what constitutes being forced? If you're allowed to leave, but you're being, quote, brainwashed, can we tell someone that they're committing a crime?
But how old was the kid?
Well, the brain.
Not like,
The-
but
the-
like.
the P
Now we're
kid?
talking about adults.
Yeah.
We're talking about adults
Okay.
in the sex slavery
the
thing.
sex slavery,
But the
some
girl,
underage, I think, too,
that
though.
girl was
I think
supposed to be
14.
14 or 15.
And he didn't
yeah.
have sex with her.
And I never saw the video, but I was told she looked like a child.
Child, yeah.
And he peed on her. But he didn't have sex with her?
I think we shouldn't assume that because it wasn't on tape, he didn't have sex with her.
There's no footage.
Because if I'm peeing on a girl, we've probably had sex. No, I've never peed.
Well, no, before.
I love that you just assume that that's the foreplay for him, and maybe it totally is.
I don't get to peeing until I've,
No, well, a woman's body is like a foot.
He's like, well, if he peed on her, I mean,
Well,
clearly. That's just the preamble.
It's it's a sanitizer because it's like a jellyfish. You want to.
Well, it's like, you know, girls on porn will be like, I've never done anal before, and it's like, I feel like you probably would have get to anal before porn, don't you think?
You would hope so.
I feel like anal comes before porn.
I
You
don't
know what I mean?
Anal's a scary thing to me.
More than porn?
I mean, if given the choice, like, I'd have to think about it.
Oh, really?
Anal sounds really terrifying.
What about the
to
girls
me.
who are like, I've never had sex before? Clearly, you get to sex before porn.
I would think so. I would agree with that.
They're lying.
Those are liars. Yes.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But then there was the girl that like raffled off her virginity for like millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Wait, that's just an episode of Little Big Lies. Is that really happened?
That
A lot of
really
women-
happened.
A lot of
happened,
women have
yeah.
done that. Yeah.
Yeah, that really.
And they're-
I mean, I remember hearing about it. At least the girl was like 19, and she was from like
England. She was British.
Was she British?
Well,
Okay.
one of the stories. There's a lot of these. Yeah.
But with
Yeah.
R. Kelly, it's not bad that he peed on someone. It's bad that he was with an underage woman.
Correct.
Right.
It's bad all around, but
But
yeah.
if it was an adult, it wouldn't be bad.
No,
Yeah.
like, if a girl
If
wants you
it's
to pee on
consensual.
her-
If it was an adult, it would just be creepy.
Right.
But like, you
Well,
know,
we should, hey, that's kink shaming.
But also, he
I'll
did say
kink
that he
shame it all day. Like,
and R.
Yeah.
Kelly did
gross.
say
Golden
he
showers.
doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't let women pee on him because he's the king.
Exactly. You had to praise him.
But yeah, people left. Basically, it sounded like one of those things where, like Scientology, it's like if they want to live in a prison that they agreed to go into, at what point can we really say you're not allowed to agree to this?
Yeah, of course. Anyone who goes into Scientology is a moron from the beginning. So, no offense.
Yeah, you know, like I dated a girl in
no
Scientology.
offense to anyone that isn't a Scientologist.
The Scientologist I dated was raised Scientology.
Yeah.
Except
Which-
for that. Well,
and
that's
then-
why
and then you
Scientology.
can't even
That's
blame
why
them.
Scientology is horrible for
I'm
the
really
kids.
shocked you
Yeah.
were even able to date a Scientologist.
I mean, I didn't find out until midway through the short relationship.
Wow.
But then I was very proud of her that she eventually quit. So good for her.
You have the vocal rhythm of someone who's in a cult, kind of.
You know, I've heard that before.
Did she convert you?
I have been told.
Say join me.
Someone did tell me that it makes sense that I would date a cult member.
Say I try. I'm in Scientology, and it's not that bad.
You know, people thought I should have been insulted, and I wasn't. I felt like that was kind of a compliment. But yeah, R. Kelly, they're calling it hateful just because that's the clause they have.
Right.
It's more just doing bad things, really. Because I don't think Michael Jackson hated those kids either. It's quite the opposite.
Well,
Right.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think they should remove music. But
They're not
like,
removing
but
it, they're just not
Yeah,
featuring
who gives
it.
a shit? That's fine.
They're just not. They're not promoting it.
Yet Jerry Lee Lewis is on the cover of everyone's Spotify.
Yeah.
What did-
I think that's
Did
probably
he
not
marry
true.
a
but
13-year-old? Or
He
what?
married
Yeah,
his cousin.
He married his 13-year-old
Yeah,
cousin.
that
He
was
married
also
his
his cousin.
extremely
Yeah.
But in his
cousin.
defense, he claimed she wasn't a virgin, so
So there you go.
Nothing
Sure,
wrong.
That's fine. She
Well,
clearly
that's
had a
because he
fully formed
deflowered her
prefrontal cortex
Before
at
they
that
got
point.
married.
It's interesting. They both, R. Kelly and him, both are doing something where it's two things, and one of them is not like one of them's really terrible, and the other one's just weird.
The
but not-
cousin- the cousin
The cousin
thing.
thing's not like whatever. Two
Right, if it was-
cousins
if it
Yeah,
was
but it's
your-
still 13, though.
if it was your adult, right? That's
The
what he's
13
saying.
is the problem.
underage
Yeah.
part
Yeah.
is the part that's offensive.
not the kinky part.
I mean, Kevin Gates is, was banging his cousin, and no one cared because it was just like cute. You know, Kevin
Right.
Gates. Kevin Gates is a rapper who was banging this girl, and then someone said, "You guys look a lot alike," and then he found out it was his first cousin, and
Oh, he didn't know.
right. And here's the ultimate baller move: he kept fucking her.
yeah.
He
Well, at that point,
continued.
there's emotion, I guess. I'm not saying that's okay. I don't know this story.
They look so much alike.
Oh, they do. That's
It is
odd.
gross.
Well, maybe that's just pure egotism. I
Well,
don't know.
didn't Giuliani marry his cousin?
Second cousin.
Second cousin.
Oh.
And by the way, think of your second. Do you guys have relationships with your second cousins? You know what you call?
No.
I do. You know what I call her? My cousin, because it's the same goddamn thing.
I would have no idea.
And by the
who
way,
those people
my
are.
second cousins. I have three second
What's the
cousins.
second cousin again? What is that?
Second
The
cousin
child
is
of your
your.
cousin.
Yes, it is the. Right. I'm sorry. It is the. You have the same grandparents, right?
No,
Or same
that's cousin.
Oh, sorry,
That's
sorry.
cousin.
You have to say great grandparents,
Oh, same
Yeah.
great grandparents.
meaning that it would be your father's first cousin's kid.
Yeah.
Or your father's first cousin. I think
I didn't feel bad when I jacked off to her.
Yeah. But like my cousins aren't, I'm not even blood related to them. Three of them are all like really beautiful. They were like homecoming queens and stuff. And honestly, it is literally impossible for me to see them as attractive because you're not supposed to be able to see anyone you grew up with.
But would you go down on them?
Well, it depends what I wanted out of this situation.
Yeah, only if he could find her purpose.
I don't think it's fair that R. Kelly's kink is peeing on someone else. I feel like if you have a pee fetish, it should be for other people to pee on you.
It usually
is. It shouldn't be a fetish where you don't.
At least that's the only thing I've heard of.
It shouldn't be a fetish where you don't get affected by it. Like that seems weird. It
speaks poorly of him.
Yeah, I guess like I'm really into peeing on other people. Like that's weird.
I've actually never heard that until him because golden shower is exactly that. It's where you want someone
the whole Trump
to pee
thing
on
is someone
you.
peeing.
Yeah,
on Trump, right?
I mean, peeing on girls is the only way he'll get a woman
thing,
wet.
I thought that was he was watching hookers pee on each other.
Correct. He was watching hookers
that's
pee on
hot,
the bed
no matter who
because
you are.
Obama slept on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay.
He got him.
Now, and we're going to say allegedly because I don't.
yeah.
But this episode isn't going to air for about a week and a half. So by the time it does, it could already be proven. By the way, just the fact that this episode is on a delay, so I apologize that like if our stories are a little bit behind. But I think that because it's on a delay, we should try to spend some time talking about the stories that will probably have happened by the time it airs.
Right.
So what did
We
you
gotta
guys?
get our magic 8-ball.
But yeah, so what did you guys think of Giuliani's suicide?
Oh, yeah. It was really funny that Bieber's mother actually finally killed him.
Yeah.
Finally just fucking snapped. What's going on with him? Is anybody following that nonsense?
Justin
by the way?
Biebs?
Yeah.
Is he back in? Is he doing something?
I thought he was with
confused.
Selena again or something like that.
Yeah, I heard that. By the way,
Or whatever her name
You
is.
do a great job of taking things away from politics. Back to what you're doing.
By the way,
Can we get back to what really
That last
matters?
one was really seamless.
this is important. I met Bieber once. I met Bieber, and
on SNL.
no, at the roast, and at the roast of Justin Bieber.
That was
His
good.
facial hair is horrifying. He has the most disturbing beard His beard.
In what way?
You could he had like this incredibly thin, wispy beard that you couldn't really see from afar, but then up close you realize he had these like literally inch-long hairs hanging from his chin.
Like whiskers?
Yes.
Ew.
They were so weird. And if you see it, and I'm not giving anything away, like I'm not defying my NDA because you can see it on camera if you look closely. It was like, and in the light, it like glistens, and they're so thin and wispy that it was like, who is telling him this is okay? Someone is betraying him
No, there's
by
probably
allowing
people that
him.
are afraid to tell him anything.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what was so scary
Like
about
Kim
it.
Jong-un, yeah. He thinks that hair looks good.
Right.
People are like, it looks great.
That was a
today.
great roast, though. By the way, you got to give it to his manager, Scooter, because
Bieber?
actually, Scooter, Bieber's manager, put that roast together. And honestly, when they got Ron Burgundy as a special guest, I was like, I can never talk shit about Scooter Braun ever again. That is the best get I've ever seen.
I remember there was one.
No one knew. I didn't know. No one knew that Ron Burgundy from Anchorman was going to show up.
Yeah, I remember watching it. Pete Davidson had that great joke.
Wait. Which joke?
Yeah, we'll see if you're the one who wrote
I'm
it.
dying to see if it's the one I wrote. Yeah, if it's the one I wrote.
there's a lot
Which
of
one?
pressure. I hope
Which
I don't
one?
disappoint you.
Let's give it to me.
Oh boy.
Well, you can just see his pussy when we're done.
I'm so excited
It's
about
the
this.
one where he said the Snoop Dogg joke where he goes, Snoop Dogg, your movie Soul Plane
Oh, that was mine. Yup.
was the worst
Yup.
experience.
Oh, no. The joke was he did a 9/11 joke first.
Yeah.
And then he said, and he said, now for the greatest transition in history, two people from Soul Plane are here.
Yeah.
Kevin, Snoop, Soul Plane was the worst experience of my life involving a plane.
Yeah.
That was mine. And the funny story about
Never
that
would
is-
have brought this up if I knew you're hard right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. I'm so glad you brought that up, only because I swear to God this is true. I saw Soul Plane when it was new, and I hated it so much. I'm not exaggerating. I said, someday I'm going to find a way of fucking over this movie. I swear to God that's true.
Manifest destiny,
I
David.
hated that movie.
You really even the score.
I think I did.
That's right.
I think I did.
You
That
brought
was-
down two careers
that
in
was-
your mind.
That was probably like the most watched joke I ever wrote.
I
So.
think that's not how The Secret's supposed to work.
He has a Jewish secret. It's just revenge.
yes.
The other joke I really liked is when Hannibal
I loved everything.
Hannibal said
so good.
Shaq and Kevin Hart look like Tyler Perry's of Mice and Men.
That was really funny, yeah. No, that was a great roast. One joke when you said Snoop Dogg, I was thinking of a joke and I realized they cut it, which I was so upset by because I really wanted to keep, which is that Snoop is 46, and now the only doggy style he gets is during his annual colonoscopy. I was so mad they cut that.
Yeah, it was a good roast. I feel like there's too many celebrities on there, not enough comedians.
I mean, that's kind of
maybe
what
I'm
happens.
wrong.
Yeah. Originally, I think they were even going to have more rappers, and they decided to have more comics.
I just hate the like. I just like when I know the person wrote the jokes, or at least is like a comedian. You know what I mean? I'm not as crazy when like Martha Stewart comes up and shit.
Right, and Martha was great, but it's also like, this is just a performance piece.
Yeah.
Where like Martha Stewart was just graciously willing to be unbelievably racist.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. I'm obviously you need like giant celebrities. I just wish the percentage was a little more like 60-40.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what's at the new one, the Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis is next?
Oh yeah, in July. It's going to be the Bruce Willis roast. We're
going to be fucking Ann
We're
Coulter
excited
again.
to see what the dais is. I'm sure she got asked to do
Pete
it again.
Davidson doing it?
No one's official yet.
Okay.
So we're waiting to see. If Pete's in it, then yeah, I'll definitely be involved. And maybe if he's not, who knows? We're waiting to see who's going to be working on it.
Fucking Bruce Willis.
Yeah, Bruce Willis.
He's like a Trump supporter, right?
My understanding is that I heard he's a Republican, but has not come out as a Trump supporter. I don't know for sure.
There's a big difference.
His wife is really hot.
Who's his wife?
Some really hot chick.
Really?
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
I
having a
thought
Republican
Bruce was-
and the roast is interesting. Yeah, because I mean Bruce is weird because like he's one of these guys you'll be watching Netflix and you'll be like, wait, what are these 300 movies that Bruce Willis is in that I've never heard of?
He's kind of like Kevin Bacon.
Did you Bernie Madoff yourself? Like,
He's
did he
kinda like
lose
Nicolas
everything?
Cage, yeah, he
Well,
does,
Nicolas
yeah.
Cage did lose everything to Bernie Madoff, and that's why he had to do all those
Right.
movies.
Yeah.
Bruce might just be greedy. Just might be
Probably.
a guy
Well, he
who
is
just wants to
Republican.
bang out a movie every month.
Let me ask you all a question. We're talking a little about the Me Too movement, a little, right?
Yeah.
Sure. We brought up Hannibal.
Do you think what's the deal with Woody Allen? Because like
Oh, I love this topic.
I get that. Like it's so complicated with him because there's two different things. Whenever people say I hate Woody Allen, I'm never sure which one they're talking about. Because there's a thing where he married
His daughter.
His daughter.
He married his girlfriend's adopted
His
daughter.
girlfriend's adopted
They never lived in
daughter.
the same house, and he was never her father in any legal way.
And he married her, and that's one thing.
And it's still gross. I'm just
which
saying
I
the
think
facts.
is creepy more so than like they're still married. I think it's creepy more so than like there's some things where it's like it's creepy, but I feel like the people has to do a moral transgression for you to like judge it. I feel like it's more weird as fuck, right?
Well, she was, 17, 18 when they got together? It's bad. It's very bad.
Well, didn't
Yeah.
Morgan
it's not-
Freeman like have an affair with his granddaughter?
It's been accused, yes, but she was also an adult at the time.
But so then
Right,
the other
but,
thing
like,
is
not his granddaughter. His girlfriend's granddaughter. Well, same thing. We
I
kind
never heard
of
that.
we fudged the numbers, but yeah, both of those were the long-term girlfriend's relative, not their own. But yes, there have been a lot of accusations. And she was murdered last year.
Yeah.
Which is no one's accusing Morgan Freeman of doing it. Which just
I
adds
am
a weird wrinkle
right
to
now.
it.
Wow.
But
then Woody Allen, Mia Farrow claims that Woody Allen
molested the
his
7-year-old daughter.
Right.
And she claims it too.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Now
So does Ronan.
Ronan, right? Now
Ronan believes them. Yes.
Yeah.
I see both things as possible. Is that wrong?
Of course, it's possible.
Yeah.
Of course,
Is
it's
it
possible.
wrong that like Mia Farrow is also really angry at him because he is married to like, or not even to lie about it, but to just like believe it in herself.
Well, also don't forget, a judge threw it out and said the story did not seem consistent. Now, if you had to ask me, gun to my head, if I had to make a guess, I would say he did it.
Yeah.
But when you only have one accuser, and it did go to court, and the court found that it was not a credible accusation, it doesn't make you a monster to say, I don't know if this is true or not.
I think that's the
Whereas-
realistic the reaction.
And
right?
because I think
I think
people
that's
want you to
fair.
condemn him when it's like, and like I said, he probably did it.
He probably did it, right?
But when you have one accuser, you have the right to say, we don't know for sure. When you have two accusers, it's very hard to believe the person's innocent.
my
When you have
rule.
three accusers, he better be we said this last week, he better be the recipient of one of the worst conspiracies ever.
Yeah.
Fourth accuser, you're fucking guilty.
yeah, that's my rule. I feel like it has not to say one accuser doesn't mean you're guilty.
You're probably
but
guilty.
I feel like
Yeah.
you need more than one for everyone to be like, oh, he's definitely guilty.
Yes,
That's a good
to
rule,
expect
isn't it?
a general bystander, to expect everyone in the world to agree a person's guilty, it should be for that one accusation that is just he said, she said, is not reasonable to expect everyone to say 100% he's definitely guilty. There's no question.
Right. Basically, what I'm
Whereas-
saying is
Yeah, that's fair.
You should have believe all women is true, but just one woman against one man is kind of like you're kind of still put in I don't know position. Even
You are.
though
You have
even
to
though
look at
you
the
want
merits
to
of that
lean,
case then.
you'd like to lean towards the woman in these situations. You still don't know for sure, right?
Well, according to I forget what it is, but I think RAIN even had I think RAIN I forget what the acronym stands for, but it's the National Rape Organization to. No, they're not anti-rape.
National
Organization of Raping Women.
I was trying to make the acronym work in my head. I'm like, that's not playing out in my head as I wanted
it's
to.
rapey as fuck.
Yeah, I think they said it's something like 1 in 20 accusations are false. Right?
Right.
That sounds about right. 95% are true. That sounds reasonable to me. That sounds about right. So yeah.
But that means when one woman accuses one guy, you can't just say that he's immediately guilty.
No, it means he's
Well, you should
probably
never
guilty.
just say anyone
Everyone's-
is guilty.
Right.
We
Yeah.
have processes for that, and sometimes
or
they
in,
fail.
or in the public
but
public domain, not like
Yeah,
in
of
the public
course.
domain. Because it was Woody Allen. They kind of put him in the Me Too thing, and I'm like, well, his thing is a very weird, complicated individual thing. That's really just weird.
But it's
and
also a
complicated.
matter of your stature. There's another person who has been a working director for all of this time, and people don't want to not believe him because they don't want to not work for him. They don't want to
Who?
not be just in general.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody ever was like, "That's it, boycott Woody Allen. Don't do his movies. Don't."
I don't
see
know.
his
I mean,
movies."
I think he's.
In terms of like the Hollywood community didn't do that.
I
They
mean,
didn't
right.
rally behind Mia Farrow.
I mean, I think his movies have sucked for like 15 years. I mean, honestly, I think his movies are so bad now. Him most likely fucking his kid is not even the number one reason he should stop making movies. It's the last 10 years. But I still think
2000 was the last time he had a really good movie.
Sweet and Lowdown.
Oh my God, it was so good.
That's how I feel. I feel like
Such
that's
a
his,
good
that's
movie.
his last best movie.
Yeah, absolutely. I love
you guys
that movie.
didn't like that Owen Wilson picture?
Oh God.
Can't fucking
Yeah,
remember
see,
the name. to save
Sweet
my
and
life.
Lowdown was
That was
actually
all just like
really-
ha ha ha. I know who T.S. Eliot is. Ha ha ha. I know this writer.
I didn't see it. I just
But you know
remember
what?
everybody loved it at the time.
And there's nothing wrong with saying that a monster can create great media.
Sure, of course.
I mean, a lot of the greatest things in history were created by horrible people
Of course,
who
not mutually exclusive
could
at
not
all.
be bothered
You
to
could-
deal with morality.
You
But
can
at
also
the same time, there should be repercussions.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
that's the point.
Right.
Yeah.
But then, when you take R. Kelly, for instance, and they're not featuring his work anymore, like Netflix is not featuring Woody Allen, like then it becomes like,
Are they?
why?
Well, I don't know.
but they're not
There's-
going out of their way.
They're not going out of their way not to feature him or kind of make it a point that because of these allegations, we're not going to put him as the forefront of our platform.
And I don't expect
But-
him at the Kennedy Center Awards anytime soon. But he has been there before.
Not to be cynical,
Right.
but and I'm not saying Spotify did it for this, but them making that decision, doesn't that kind of give them like free ads by just basically everyone talking about
Yeah, it
Spotify
does.
now? It's kind of a clever move. It's like we won't feature R. Kelly. All the articles will be about Spotify not doing that, and then Spotify gets free ads by being into the current event. And then,
Right.
you know,
But I think the problem that, like, kind of to your point, yes, you want to believe all women, but my
I
problem
don't.
is
No.
kind of more like we need like more, I guess, a uniform approach of how you deal with the people that are being accused, because if they haven't actually been convicted of a crime yet, they're not going through the legal system. But then when it comes to consuming their content or these platforms, how they react to them, I think there needs to be more of a uniform way of doing that, because let's say, you know, they're not going to feature R. Kelly, but all of Harvey Weinstein movies will still be featured somewhere. Like, there's no uniformity of how people are
with
reacting
Harvey
to
Weinstein,
it.
it's tough because he's the producer. He's not even
Right.
the director.
He's one part.
Yeah.
He's
He's
one
a piece
small
of a
part.
massive.
You'd be
of
like,
a,
you'd
of
be
a
like,
lot of other
yeah.
He's a
people.
cog in a giant wheel.
Whereas R. Kelly, it's like this is R. Kelly's voice, R. Kelly's music.
Yeah.
And it's also not like people
Well, did
can't
they
watch
pull-
You can't listen. It's not like you can't listen to his music.
Did they pull like CK stuff from Netflix?
And House of Cards.
They
They're,
barely.
Yeah.
they're certainly not.
No.
They're certainly not featuring them, which
They,
is the
no,
same
they,
process.
they don't feature. It's
They're
on there, but
definitely
they
not
don't
featuring
feature it.
them.
Yeah,
Like,
and
you
HBO took it off.
You should not be. You should not be no longer able to see House of Cards.
No, that isn't
But
at
I'm
all
saying
my
it's the same
point.
situation. I don't think Netflix is featuring, just like Spotify is not featuring anyone.
But Netflix didn't announce that, well, due to this situation, we're not going to feature CK.
yeah, but they also clearly didn't put. They clearly buried it. And they
Kevin
didn't-
Spacey, by the way,
They're not suggesting Louis anymore.
Kevin Spacey, worst apology of all time. He gets accused of rape, and he goes, "I don't remember," which is basically saying, "I've raped so many people, I can't."
Well, I
can't
think
keep
that the
it."
accusations against Kevin Spacey were extremely homophobic because he was gay. And as he said when he was accused of raping Anthony Rabb, he's a gay man. So
all those apologies were such insights into like the sociopathology of people.
But that's, I mean, what do you think makes him so good at what he does?
he's a very good actor.
Did you see?
He's a blank slate.
Did you see his? I'm sorry.
Okay. No, go ahead.
I was just saying, someone brought up his when he won his Academy Award for American Beauty.
Mm-hmm.
They went back, and his speech is like, in hindsight, it's like, I just want to say, people do horrible things, and this character in this movie is kind of a monster, and I just want people to forgive monsters. Like it's like a whole.
Oh, is that
thing.
right?
Yeah,
Interesting.
Good for him.
What was the chef that was like? Oh, it was a yeah, and then like in his apology, he gave a recipe.
Yeah, and it didn't even turn out well. When I
Like,
made it.
Yeah, you went ahead and that was your first mode of figuring out if you were going to forgive him or not. Well, if this quiche is any good, I'm going to
then
let
it's
it
like, you know, he's a
slide.
good guy. He had a bad night.
It's like if Paula Dean said, "I'm going to apologize for my use of the N-word with this ribs recipe."
Right.
We're all square, right, guys?
But it's so
It
informed
was
by
so
you.
moist and delicious. I forgot about her racism.
Right. But that's so true. Like, and then there were all the people that said, okay, but Paula Dean's a little old lady and she was raised in a time where that was acceptable or whatever. So there's so many things.
To say the N-word? She's not that old.
I'm not at all agreeing with it, but that was one of
her
the pieces
defense-
that came into play.
I think what she said was that in her defense, she only did it while buying Brazil nuts. She just didn't know that that's not the correct term.
There you go.
The N-word. What are they called? I mean,
They call them N-word toes in certain rural areas still.
Oh, man.
I only found that out recently, and that that was beyond shocking to find out that there are places right now that they are still calling Brazil
There's so
nuts.
much racism associated with food.
Sugar babies too.
Yeah, there's so
Sugar
much
babies have
racism
a-
associated with lots of things that we overlook.
Sugar baby.
Take a wild guess what the word sugar originally was in sugar babies. Yeah.
What's a sugar baby?
It's those
The
little
caramel candies.
little caramel candies covered in chocolate, and apparently they have a horrifying
How
origin.
racist you gotta be to look at a candy and figure out a way to use the N-word?
It's like, you know what this candy's missing?
Really?
Racism.
You gotta slip the N-word in candy.
It's called marketing. It's on the tip of your tongue, isn't it?
Oh my God.
They were gonna buy the Snickers, but now
There's like foreign candies that are really racist. I remember I took a photo of one and so I put it on my Instagram. But like,
Actually, yeah,
Well, have you ever
I was going to
seen-
say in the news right now is that restaurant Yellow Fever. Did you guys hear about that?
No.
It's a chain of I'm going to assume it's Asian food. I now don't remember, but it's in like a Whole Foods or something somewhere, and it's an individual storefront, and it's called Yellow Fever.
yeah,
Is it made by Trader Mao? Is it one of those Trader Joe's?
No, but
it's not Asian people
and
running it.
people love the food, and they're like, yeah, like,
Sure,
it's
they have
just,
yellow fever.
Right.
Yellow Fever. There's a Bloodhound Gang song called Yellow Fever that had to be removed from their album. Did you know that?
No.
And it is literally just a bunch of rhyming Asian jokes. Just every horrible Asian stereotype.
Aside from racism, though, do you want to eat at a place called Yellow Fever?
Okay, you
Which
wanna
is
you don't
an
want the word
actual
fever,
illness?
yeah.
Do you
That was
know-
an actual illness before it was associated with
It's
liking.
bad marketing on many levels.
So many
Okay,
levels.
this is terrific. So we're looking at a candy
it's
called...
Italian.
Of course it's Italian. Called nougatine, which I'm assuming is just the word nougat.
Yeah.
And it's, as you see, it is a... It looks like Aunt Jemima, basically.
Nice.
It looks like a way more racist version of Aunt Jemima.
It does.
By the way, did you ever see the movie Confederate States of America? It's a
No.
movie about a world where we lost the Civil War, which is also... There's an HBO show being made about the same kind of
Yeah.
subject, but it's an older movie, and at the end of the movie, they tell you all the parts of the movie that weren't faked, because they have this in the movie. It's like it's us now, and we're just living in this horribly racist world, like planes.
It's
and
like a
TVs.
mockumentary, right?
Yeah, it's a mockumentary, and it's great. And then at the end of the movie, they say, "Oh, by the way, when we show people using N-word hair chewing tobacco, that's a real product that existed until the friggin' 70s." And that if you go to like Thailand right now, there are still remnants of these like minstrel show like toothpastes.
But there's also that movie. There's a movie starring John Travolta and Harry Belafonte.
White Man's Burden.
White Man's Burden.
Yeah.
And the plot was
that.
just
It was so bad.
Blazing Saddles even.
But
Like, what?
The plot of this was, what if black people were doing really well and white people were poor? Was that what?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was just exactly
It seemed
reversed.
kind of a little racist just to be like, what if we switched it? I don't know.
Yeah, they switch it, and like all the white people are getting called spooks because they look like ghosts at night because they're so white, which is hilarious.
Well, at least
my favorite part of that though is the fact that all the white kids had to play with Sun Man. That was their doll because of the way that like black kids always had all their toys were. The theme was that they were black.
Right.
They're all like, Black Panther. Every black superhero had the word black in their name.
watching that movie just made me feel like it just puts racist thoughts in your head, and then you feel racist just watching it. You're like, what is this? What is the point of this movie?
It's just a movie to teach racist white people that racism is real and what it would look like and how you would feel if it was reversed.
If it was
Because
reversed.
so many people don't even acknowledge what's happening. Like so many people don't even realize that they consider whites default
Right.
and everyone else is white plus something.
So is it a good movie?
It's okay. It's not great.
After all that.
It's not. Oh no, it's not a great movie. It's just
That's like, that documentary where they tried to teach kids what the Holocaust was, so they gathered 6 million paper clips, and they're like, imagine all these paper clips together. It's like, you could just imagine real people being killed instead of like somehow having the paper clips made them realize.
you could just say just the population of Illinois.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people.
So, did you see today that Congress released thousands of Facebook ads?
Well, I was about to jump in with Roseanne's theory about the thousands of children sex like slaves.
Oh no, that
Wait, tell
that
us
just
about
happens
that.
in
I feel
in
like I've
Roseanne's
never read a
head.
newspaper all of a sudden.
Roseanne has told people that all the Democrats in Congress have sex with child slaves, including Obama.
It's what it was like part
The
of that thing that
Pizzagate.
made the pizza guy shoot up.
Yeah.
there,
Yeah, it's the Pizzagate thing.
Just things that crazy people make up to just manipulate the simple.
But so Congress released like thousands of Facebook ads that were like
Yeah.
fake ads that Russia had paid for, and one like I was kind of scrolling through some of them, and it was surprising how many that I had actually seen on Facebook. But the one that shocked me the most was really there was an anti-Trump rally in Union Square Park. And that was actually orchestrated by Russians, that they actually put together an event that people went to that I knew had gone to that event, which I think is just really like scary to see.
Wait, they
like,
put
how
together an
close-
anti-Trump rally?
Yeah, they put
had
together
a
an anti-Trump.
a minority.
These
of
Russians
the-
are they're like the Joker. They're just all over the place.
Right.
Well, the majority of the stuff they did was intended to make Trump look good, but a minority of it was also just intended to increase hatred with both sides.
Right.
Their main thing was they wanted everyone to hate each other, wanted everyone to fight. So while they were pushing these anti-Trump
This is
things,
a
the
Joker.
one thing they were never pushing was moderation. So it was always about trying to take advantage of the most hysterical people on every side just to build up hatred and fear because that's what would help Trump.
Well, it
overall.
didn't work at all. We're not divided as a country whatsoever.
I mean, that was that was Trump and Russia's entire plan, was to just make people hysterical, because a person like Trump only makes sense when you're in a state of fear.
Right.
I'm sorry. I can just like watching Dave like emphatically make every point. Keep going.
No, that's it. No, I mean, that's what it was about. It was about saying that Trump is someone you would listen to only when you're in a full-scale panic.
Right.
agree.
I do think like whether you're liberal or right wing, every article now, the headline is designed to make you feel outrage.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
not good journalism. Even
No,
from the liberal
Everything
side,
is
agree with
clickbait.
that.
every
Yeah.
headline is like,
How
from the
terrible
liberal
is this?
side.
How
yeah.
terrible is this? It's
Trump
like, it's all
punches
terrible.
a
We
koala
get it.
bear in the pussy or
Yeah.
whatever, and no one
He only
cares.
grabs pussies.
But it's just like, I don't feel like a headline, if you're reading an article and the headline makes you angry immediately, that's not good journalism. I just don't think it is.
It's not good for anybody's psyche. I mean, he's just a terrible person, and we get it. So it's like, move on from that to some
Yeah.
extent. Like, yes, everyone needs to be informed when really bad stuff is happening. But yeah, I agree with you. It's like every day we're just meant to be in this like
State of
horrific
anger, yeah.
To
mental.
be fair,
yeah.
he's doing something every day.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Republicans are taking advantage of the fatigue, and I think on some level,
I tuned
they're
out.
just saying, that's the whole point. They're saying
it
if
worked.
you tell 5 lies, people will hound you with those 5 lies for the rest of your life. If you are like Trump and tell 4,000 lies, everyone just says, oh, really? One person could tell 4,000 lies? Like, yeah.
Hitler said the bigger the lie, the more you believe
Right.
it. Is that what he said?
Something like that. Yeah. Well, he said a lot of things that Trump may or may not have read, according to one of the biographies that said he
Apparently
read
the only book
speeches.
he's ever read is Mein Kampf, right?
Well, there was an accusation that the only book people have seen him read was a book of Hitler's speeches, not Mein Kampf. But yeah, that was one of the
Mein Kampf is
accusations.
actually kind of dry. I tried to read it. It's kind of boring. I thought it'd be like Jew hating immediately. But
You got to
like
hear
the
him say.
economy.
You got to get the book on tape.
You got to hear the rhythm.
You got to get it in his
You gotta
voice.
read it in the original German.
You know what? You should read it in your ET voice, and it's going to resonate with you a lot more.
I hate the Jews.
Have a good day, Dad.
We need to
But, like,
get
how-
the Jews out of Germany. All right, sorry.
Sir. But like, how much do you think that like all these ads actually affected people?
A ton. People live on Facebook. We are fucking pathetic.
It really, when they were saying
so fucking much.
there was one stat that said something like half the population of the U.S. had been reached by these ads.
Yeah.
It was over 100 million.
But these are mainly right-wing ads?
No,
They're
they
both.
were.
They were
They
a
were.
combination
They were.
of both.
Yes, they were more right wing than others.
Yeah.
But they were just trying. It was a lot of like. There was Black Lives Matter stuff they were pushing. There was Bernie stuff. But the one thing that seemed to be the correlation was it was all about getting people upset. It was all about trying to take on the more fringe, hysterical side of any argument just to get people to hate each other. They're organizing these rallies and then organizing counter rallies, trying to get people mad. Like that anti-Trump rally in Manhattan was for the purpose of other people who like Trump that aren't in Manhattan saying, "Oh my God, look what they're doing. We need to fight this."
Right.
The whole point is just trying to rile people up.
So are we all just like when Scarecrow shoots the gas out in Batman and everyone, the Batman Begins?
Yeah.
Where the gas comes.
Yeah.
Are we all actually just good people hating each other? Like, are all the Trump supporters actually good people?
No.
But is that you being affected right now?
Right.
No,
That's
no.
what I was saying about the emphasis.
Well, no, because I didn't share any fake
You
articles.
couldn't see it back home, viewers.
But aren't you now by being like that, aren't you part of this like divide they're created by hating the other person?
Only if you believe only if you believe off the bat that it's impossible that someone could actually deserve hatred. The point is, I wasn't being manipulated by fake articles. I didn't share any. I didn't believe the fake articles about Trump either because I actually look things up and I don't share things from like WorldNet News.
Right.
The problem is a lot of people are not on that level, and people who have to work in media usually try a little bit harder.
I
They
don't
can tell the
share. I don't
difference.
share it either. It's not since I posted that James Earl Jones died because I thought it was a real article.
Yeah, see, you got taken.
But
no,
I think
but-
it's also the paradox of tolerance. So like I think for me, my problem with Trump people is that it sounds odd, but like in order to live in a tolerant society, everyone has to be tolerant of everything except for intolerance. Because if you are tolerant of intolerance, then that intolerant kind of cell of people will then start kind of breeding more intolerance.
And they're demanding it. The
Right.
alt-right and the neo-Nazis are demanding tolerance for their intolerance. I mean, these
Right.
are the same people who are going and saying, these are people who, they are the most toxic, childish arguers you've ever seen in media, ever. It's amazing that they have the gall to act like such children when they argue, but then will say, Castle Wolfenstein is really irresponsible for having us just shoot Nazis just because they disagree with us. They're suddenly saying you
That's a
shouldn't
video
have
game.
video
That's a
games
video game.
where Nazis get shot.
Right.
And by the way, you're so offended by a video game that shoots Nazis, maybe don't buy one with the word Stein in it.
Right.
Yeah, it's
You do shoot the dog in it, which is pretty brutal. Like they shoot the German Shepherd.
That's not cool.
but it's like their whole thing is just
You have to tolerate our
taglines.
hatred.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just taglines and little talking points. And then it's, if you disagree, then it's like, oh, well, you have identity politics. But then it's not really, aren't they having identity politics? They identify as
They're
white
huge
nationalists.
hypocrites.
So it's,
These are people, and I've seen this many times, Trump supporters, people who think that Trump has done nothing wrong, who will then say liberals are so toxic and such bullies, and they're always using name calling when they make fun of Trump. And it's like, you voted for the biggest childish bully who has ever been in ever been in mass media in America.
But this is why one of the worst things about Trump is that we're all now in agreement, but it sounds like we just that's what Trump does. It makes liberals angrily agree with each other. You know what I mean? It just creates this dialogue.
I don't know why we can't just have a do no harm policy for everybody. That's what you have to abide by.
Well, because the reason is because half this country, a little less than half, they have a deep hatred for us, for anyone who believes in that kind of just general progressive.
So what is the Facebook ads? Are they a problem? I mean, it sounds like
not
which
even
one
humanitarianism. Just don't
Humanism.
fuck with other people.
But is it?
Just don't fuck with other people. Do your thing.
The
don't
thing
fuck
I don't
with
get
other
about the
people.
Facebook ads though is that, and I'm really don't get. I don't have an opinion about it. It's like, how much of it is that just Americans are awful, and how much of it is them being manipulated by Facebook ads?
It's both. Russia saw an
What's
opportunity.
the pie graph?
Well, Russia did this because they saw an opportunity in the weird emotional state that America has been growing to.
So
in the last
they
few
exacerbated
years.
something that was there.
We became reality show characters.
Right.
We became these unnecessarily emotional, irrational people who believe that all attention, even negative, is better than no attention. And once that happened, the floodgates opened and we became this horrible, toxic culture that celebrates just childish bullying.
Well, I think it was also had a lot to do with the fact that we had 8 years of Obama, so you had like a group of people that just seething for 8 years, saying like, "Oh, well, we're losing our upper hand in society because Obama was president," and so the Russians basically took advantage of the fact that you had a populace that believed, "Oh, we're now becoming aspirationally the Americans that we think we are," and then you had a populace in the country that are saying that, "Oh, well, you know, we're being left behind because the country is propelling forward so much that we're being left in the dust," and building animosity and resentment. So the Russians just came in and were just kind of saw like it was like the perfect time to plant the seeds.
They're pretty smart, honestly. I mean, it's pretty badass if you think about what the Russians did. That's some like Joker, Batman. We're gonna causing chaos in a country internally, having them fight each other.
Right.
I mean, Russia has an economy the size of Italy. Yet they were able to do this to America because they saw that we were at an advantage in every conceivable way. We're a bigger country, more people, more money, more commerce, everything they had. The only thing that they had on us, the only advantage they have against us, is their emotional deadness. And
I was
they
gonna
saw
say, they're a scary people.
They saw our emotional problem. They saw that America was this becoming hysterical, and they said, "Well, let's exploit that because that's the only."
Well, that's some awesome Iago shit. It seems like they have to understand America first before they did that. It seems like they understood us.
Well, yes, they do.
Well, it's kind of like Osama bin Laden. He figured out the way to beat the beast is to have the beast fight like. Not like
he also thought 9/11 was going to be all he needed to do. He thought we were going to all just collapse.
Right. They really had nothing else after that.
No, it was like that. It was like that cartoon where the guy drinks a bunch of gasoline and then swallows a match. You can only do it once.
Yeah, some loser with a shoe, and then one guy tried to build the bomb on the plane. It's like that's like a bad.
Well, fortunately, we found
like a kid procrastinating.
We found out the smart ones don't want to die for this.
Yeah.
But see, to that effect, that was remember how like united we were just as a people after 9/11. Like it wasn't Democrats, Republicans. It was like we're Americans, and this is the opposite of that. Now this is like everybody taking sides.
Yeah,
against
it is
everybody.
the opposite. Yeah.
So that's effective because
you know why? Because we don't know the villain. If the villain's Russia, we didn't have.
That's exactly right.
And the fact is, right now, liberals and conservatives.
We had one person to rally around that was not a part of us, and now we're so tearing.
I agree with you.
Apart.
Bring back 9/11. Bring back George Bush. I agree with you completely.
But we're not
I think we'd all be okay with
we
bringing
do
back
have
George
a
Bush
common
at this
enemy,
point.
but we're still so divided that we can't even focus on the fact that we have a common enemy.
Right.
It's like you still have like almost 50% of the population not believing that we were attacked by Russia. That like, you know, we are in a technological hot war with Russia, but it's like, oh no, this is fake news because Donald Trump said he didn't collude. But it's like
these people still believe that Hillary had a stroke. They are unwilling to accept that they were duped by someone that everyone around them was screaming, "He's a con man. What's wrong with him?"
Well, the way she smiles looks like she's having a stroke right then. I mean, that's fair. She looks like
look, Hillary Clinton was the recipient of the world's most long-term character assassination job since she was the first lady of Arkansas.
Yeah.
They saw that bill was too charismatic to go against, so they made it about her. And here's the thing. In 20 years, are there still going to be people whose entire income is about making anti-Obama shirts? Because that's what happened with Hillary. Long after she was out of office, there were still people whose job it was to just make things to feed the hatred of this woman.
Yeah, people really hated her.
It was a cottage industry.
Yeah.
It became just a thing where I know some people who believe she's a mass murderer because they're fucking children.
Yeah, but think about it. It's no longer in fashion. You can't be like, oh, the black president. So, but it's still fine to be like, but a woman's not ready to be president. It's not fine, but that was the new thing that they could do within the confines of, oh, okay, so you're not ready for a female. That's okay because that's not racist.
Right.
Like, it's a thing that they could still get away with publicly. You can't come out and say bad shit about black people now. I mean, you can, but you're going to draw
They're trying to get back there,
I'm saying, but, like, if you come out and you're
Slowly
just
but surely.
anti-female, you're not going to get, like... We're still there. We're still there with misogyny. We're still there with people, like, with the glass ceiling and all that. Like, we're getting better. But even women hate other women. I remember talking to relatives that were like, well, Hillary, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm not even a Hillary fan. But did you hear anything that Donald Trump said?
Right.
You can't vote for that guy.
These are the same people who said, well, Hillary doesn't say what she's going to do. Like, yes, she did. She just didn't say it while calling someone a fat whore, so you didn't listen.
Hillary looked like a saint during the fucking debates. I mean, Trump makes other people look really good.
For sure.
He makes people you think are like really flawed suddenly become like heroic and just they become heroic because he's like such pure badness that everyone becomes heroic fighting
her
him.
entire platform, the people hated it by not wanting to drastically change the country. But, you know, people like me were like, I don't think Obama's doing such a bad job that we need catastrophic change.
Right.
All she wanted to do was continue Obama's policies and then make us a little bit more liberal.
Well, at the end of the day, people are just unhappy and they want change because they don't realize.
But that's a
they're
massive
fucking children.
Well, they don't realize that
massive change to ask of a male man.
They don't
is
realize
not me hating on dudes. I'm not that girl at all. But that's a massive change to put a female, a very strong, aggressive female in office. She wasn't like, oh, I would like to be president. She is an aggressive, assertive, and there were a lot of men that were terrified at that possibility, regardless of her policies. Wouldn't have mattered. She's like, I am all for NRA. I'm all for. They still would have been like, but it's a lady.
Oh no, they would have let Sarah.
Lady.
They'd let Sarah Palin be president because most of those guys see a woman. They're like, oh, I'll have a woman president, but she has to be a woman who knows her place.
I agree.
Like Sarah
and
Palin.
That's the point.
Just like they'd be okay with a black
president. There were so many
president.
things wrong with choosing her as the first female candidate. And again, it's not about hating any particular piece. From a psychological standpoint, that is a massive shift to ask of people.
We learned a lot about Republicans when their big criticism of Obama was that, and I heard a lot of them say this, they said, well, Obama had a responsibility to tell black people to stop thinking that there's racism. And that was a shocking...
What?
I heard so many Republicans say that Obama betrayed us because he inflamed racism. They said he was supposed to make people realize that there was no more racism. And that's where you really learn a lot about these people. That they saw Obama as, listen, if we're going to let you be president, you owe me something in return, which is to shut up everyone who says I'm a racist.
Barack Obama being president, kind of like the racist guy. I can't be racist. I have a black friend. They're like, I can't be racist. America can't be racist. We have a black president.
Exactly.
It was the ultimate black friend thing. Even though when Obama's president, it was horrible. I mean, horrible racial violence and horrible stuff. You know.
Well, I mean, half the country was looking at Obama and saying, well, apparently now my kid knows I've been lying about what every black man's like.
That's what Doug Stanhope said. He said, Obama being president is just trivia. It doesn't have... and then he pointed to black guys. Security guard's still going to be following you around in the mall. You know, it doesn't change that.
Right. It didn't change that, but why didn't it change that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because people tried that hard to say
I didn't say it. Doug Stanhope did.
Yeah.
No, I get it. I get the joke. I'm just saying,
I might have not phrased it right.
You know, it's not like we haven't made strides. It's just that, but it's the same with women.
We definitely have not made strides.
Because I got shit for saying, like, I voted for Hillary, but I didn't vote for her because I was like, yay, Hillary! I voted for her because Trump was terrifying. You know, and I had a lot of female friends that were like, well, we don't need your vote anyway. And I'm like, apparently you did. And here's why. She wasn't a likable female on many levels.
And I get not liking her, but what I don't get, which really, you have to be so sexist to have her
let me
fighting
make that
Trump.
Point. That's women against women. Why must I automatically support? You know what I mean? Like, that's where we're at with
But here's
things.
the thing, though. Her unlikability, here's the problem. That just happens to be something that we've all agreed on about every single Democratic woman. Every Democratic woman is called an unlikable, shrill woman.
I didn't call her
Elizabeth,
shrill.
Well, not you, but they say the same thing about every woman in the Democratic Party.
I think she was
That's
extremely
just the
competent,
talking
and
point.
there was a lot of awesome, like, in terms of being in charge of things in general, but there was a lot of just unlikable things about her character. Again, I voted for her, but do I think there were other candidates that would have been a better choice? For sure. And the bottom line is just, I think that, again, like, we're still fighting that war amongst ourselves. Like, we're still trying to get past. I mean, I have jokes about that, about how we're just now, like, women are now expected to support other women. That wasn't true for a very long time, and in a lot of cases, it's still not the thing. Like, you're still gonna get shit on as a female if the popular sentiment is it should be, well, we should all want the first woman president. We do, but must it be that woman as the first? Like, I should still be able to have an opinion about that.
Yeah, of course. At the same time, what I found amazing
That's
was...
not progress. That's forcing me to do something.
But, like, I wouldn't have voted for Palin, because I think she was horrible.
Yeah,
but I
she
think
was horrible.
that, and I think that part of
Condi
that...
Rice, I had some hope about that for a minute. Like, I just strong female. No, I'm not saying she, but I'm saying, like, in terms of, like, making strides, right? You don't want it to just be a woman president. You don't want it to just be a black president. You want it to be the right candidate, is the point of that whole speech.
And I think that part of Hillary's problem was because she was so competent, and I think that is just the whole misogyny of this society is just kind of like, it took Dave's point about being in their place, but she literally was the most qualified candidate that we've ever had run. Like, we could not have had a more qualified president as far as knowing domestic policy, foreign policy, even just the inner workings of the bureaucracy of being in the White House. She had already lived there. She
was
already
like Lyndon Johnson. Yeah.
So it's just like she was literally the most qualified. But why didn't people like her? Because she's a woman and she needs to be likable. Men don't need to be likable. They need to be competent.
I'll agree with that.
So if Hillary had a dick, she'd be a president already.
We're still fighting that as females. We still have another layer that we got to get past besides competence.
I saw on Facebook a video made by a basically white power alt-right site, a site that also had things where they were calling the Obamas monkeys. Jesus. And this site created a video that took Hillary Clinton saying the words, "I don't want you to vote for me just because I'm a woman," and took out the words, "I don't want you to," and just had the words, "Vote for me because I'm a woman." And I saw fucking liberals.
Terrible marketing.
I saw fucking liberals posting that video. And people that I, to this day, don't have the same amount of respect for. People that I no longer really consider the kinds of friends I did before because I was so disgusted with them.
Well, I remember when
falling for this.
The day Trump won, Amy Schumer posted like a long thing that Trump said about how he thought Republicans were the dumbest, and he would.
Right, that was a fake.
And that was fake too. And she was having. I mean,
thank God she's not a journalist. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, she was a big. I'm not blaming her, but I'm just using an example. And she was like, had this very sad post about how people didn't vote for Hillary. It's ridiculous and all the sexism. But she was also sharing a quote by Trump that was not true. So there's definitely fault on both sides. Like, there is like a lot of. Not as much on the liberal side, but there's just a lot of like lies going around.
No, there was a big problem.
There's not a lot of due diligence with
no due diligence.
Yeah.
And the thing that disgusts me is how many people say, "Well, it's impossible to tell." No, it's not. Fucking look it up. Google the fucking phrase you just put up. That's all you have to do.
Oh boy.
I think you should play the intro song again real quick.
On that note, maybe we should take a break. Let's take a break. Dave needs some water.
You want listeners or don't you? Why do you think Feld asked me to yell every single episode?
You can yell next episode, but
I will.
All right,
it's about to start.
We're okay, you guys. We're gonna take a break, and we will be right
Shut
back.
up, Marissa.
Where's Nigel? Hello.
Hello. Testing. 1, 2, 3. What? That's just stupid.
It sounds like testes.
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna play the song, and we'll be good to go.
And I'll do a little
Welcome to
quick
Blamestorming. Blamestorming. In a post-truth world, there's plenty of blame to go around. Plenty of blame to go around. Plenty of blame to go around. Join Dave Cyrus and Marissa Smith as they blamestorm about today's hot topics.
Hey guys, welcome to Blamestorming. I'm Dave Cyrus.
I'm Marissa Smith.
Yes. Hey everyone.
Hello, I'm Walker Hayes.
I'm Ronan Hirschberg.
Hey guys, welcome to the show. By the way, Renan and Walker, both friends of ours, both comedians, and like I just realized, everyone might book for this show, also affiliated with Roast Battling.
That's right.
Because that's pretty much the only people I know in New York now, because I specifically avoid stand-up shows.
I get it.
You saw me get my ass kicked the other day. Oh boy.
Who was it against? Joel?
No. I guess you think I got my ass kicked then too.
Oh, no, I was trying to remember which the...
I thought that was more even. Actually, no.
Oh, right. Finnerty.
Finnerty.
That was his best ever, though.
Oh,
that really... He knocked it out of the park then. Because I had you winning, like...
No,
before.
he's good.
No,
He's
I
so
meant
good.
before.
Yeah.
I meant before the actual jokes.
Oh, yeah.
I expected you to win.
You'd be
'cause
crazy
you're really
after-
good. But Sean had an amazing night, yeah.
Oh, man. It
Where
like
was this?
At
the stand?
He's so good. Because he's Irish, so, like, he can be offensive. No one's, like, offended because they just assume. You know.
Accents really help you.
Oh, man. He
roast
said,
battle.
he said, you are what you eat, so I guess you should stop eating so many fat faggots.
Yeah.
Imagine that in an Irish accent.
And I'll say exactly
It was
how
like
he
a
said it.
5-minute applause break. As I just stood there.
Yeah, he did say, he goes, they say you are what you eat, so you really should lay off the fat faggots. God, that works so well when you're Irish. It's just him and Pedro, who's like from Colombia. It's like, God, it's just like a specific advantage you get.
It totally
when you
is.
have that accent.
Gonzalez?
Pedro Gonzalez? Is that his
Who are
name?
you talking about?
Yeah,
Okay,
at Roastmasters.
Yeah. Man, it was brutal.
Sorry about that, but you're very good.
Thank you.
And the two of us, let's plug it real quick, will be on the Avengers roast.
The roast of the Avengers, May 18th.
At the Creek in the Cave. You're playing...
Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah, and I'm Stan Lee.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations. What an honor.
He asked me first, so I got to pick who I would be. I was very happy about that. No one had picked up one yet. And I was like, oh, God, I get to be the senile old man who just pulled his dick out for a masseuse. This is great.
Wait, he pulled his dick out for a masseuse?
Yeah, at 95, which makes him a superhero.
There you go.
Good for him. I'm not going to use that in the bit. But yeah, did you know that Stan Lee he was accused of pulling his dick out for a masseuse?
Just like a regular masseuse, I take it.
Well, apparently, but I guess he didn't know that.
Oh, okay.
Does he think they're all like
Maybe he
have
thinks
happy
they're all
endings?
like that now, yeah.
Well, he's 95 years
Yeah.
old.
He feels like we should have advanced at this
What
point.
if I imagine it being so sleazy he like quotes his comic books like, you want to help me shoot out this web? Like he just does creepy lines from his comic books.
I bet it's more just like, did I ever tell you about the time I had the idea for why the thing has 3 fingers? I'm about to come.
Well, in his defense, he probably thinks all massages are just to jack you off at the end, right?
Well, yeah, he probably does. I mean, and the woman called the police, right? Let's be
she
fair.
did?
Well, that's it's in the news, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Here's the thing. If you are a masseuse, is she really calling the police on every guy who pulls his dick out or just the famous ones?
Or maybe just the ones that she felt like really grossed out by.
Well, I mean, it's a 95-year-old dick.
I
What
was
do you think
gonna
it's going to look
say.
like?
You know.
That's out of his control.
Right.
Or like maybe she thought he escaped from the nursing home or something.
Well,
Was this here? Was this in New York?
I don't remember where it was, but I read that it was like in a hotel, obviously.
Oh.
Like it wasn't.
Oh, so maybe she really did feel threatened.
It wasn't the spa at the Hard Rock.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously he made a mistake.
Yes, he did.
I just wonder, like, I was literally honestly wondering, like, when you're a legitimate masseuse, what percentage of guys pull their dicks out?
Well, I'm friends with a masseuse. I can tell you, she like, she told me that like she would, and she's like does like a good, it's like a respectable thing, replace whatever. And she said she'd come back and there'd be like jizz on the fucking
Oh, God.
thing, and then she'd say like a lot of times the guy would just start jacking off while he's doing the,
What?
I got a massage once and this was like in the spa of like a really nice hotel.
Yeah.
And it was like me and I won't say who other, but 2 other men that I had a close relationship with. I don't want to say who they are because it's very easy to figure out if I give any other details. But all three of us were
Pete
getting
Davidson
massages.
and another guy.
Not him. No, I'll be honest.
There's name dropping. This is
older
called,
than
this
that.
is called vague dropping.
Yes. Not famous people, just ones that anyway.
He's vague storming.
I found out, so I got the massage, and then it was like an hour, and it was a good massage, but I was so bored. Like, it's an hour. And it's like this 50-year-old Jewish woman who's just talking about her kids, and I'm just like, it's a nice woman, but I'm like, I just can't. This was like boring for the last 45 minutes. And I found out both of them tried to get hand jobs while I was getting the massage, and I'm like, was from the 50-year-old Jewish lady?
Wait, you all had the same masseuse?
No, but I think they were all like the same ish.
That was the requirement.
Like
to
I was
be a
like,
masseuse
no,
there.
I think I said I was like, mine was like a 55-year-old Jewish woman. They were like, yeah, so was mine. And I was like, you tried to get jerked off in the spa of a hotel? What is wrong with you? And he's like, well, I was getting a massage. Like, it was so standard for them that they were just like, this is what you do. Let's see if it works.
But they're older.
I mean, they were older than Pete Davidson. Is what was it?
Okay,
They
so-
were my age or older. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
You don't want to get like the kind of massage where they jack you off. That's not a good masseuse. The hands for jacking off and the hands for your shoulders are different hands. You know
Yeah,
what
if
I mean?
a girl is really good at giving massages, she doesn't have to jerk you off.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to get. I mean, I like getting jacked off. I like getting jerked off, but I like a massage just as much. You know.
Yeah, I can't give myself a great massage.
Exactly.
I've never
So-
gone to like a
funny.
massage parlor that like offered like women happy endings. Like I've never like you know
that's
what I
a good
mean.
point.
It's like because like all my guy friends they go to specific massage parlors and they're like, oh yeah, this one gives a happy ending.
All
But
your
I've
guy
never.
friends go to massage parlors and get jerked off.
A lot of them
Who do you
do.
hang out with?
Well,
The
that's
guys that
well,
get jerked off
right.
in massage parlors.
That's because
but, like,
I mean, like.
But like the women, like I know so many women that go to spas and get massages all the time, and never once has anyone's been like, "Oh, you know something in this place, they give you a happy ending." Like it's
Not to be like, you know, women or men are different, but if that happened, that place would be shut down immediately.
Oh, yeah.
He'd start fingering a woman, and she'd be
The
like, "What?"
first woman would
you
go to
know,
the
like
police.
it would be.
But
a
I'm
me-
not
it'd be
saying
me
like,
too.
well, it's Massage Envy does it without consent, but I'm talking about a place that like will like propose it like they do guys.
You would still go to
But
jail.
you'd still go to
the
jail,
average woman
yeah.
would still call the police
Yeah.
if the guy was like, as politely as possible, would you like to be fingered?
No
ma'am?"
guy.
Like, they would still call the police. Because
It's just a difference. It's
I've
just
seen-
a difference. Yeah, guys, you can't rape a guy because he wants to get raped. Like he wouldn't mind, you know. So it's like if a guy maybe that's a dark way. Of saying it. But I'm
I
saying
think
like
some men that have been raped would disagree.
I've seen news articles.
I always forget about that.
I've seen plenty of news stories like blurbs where they'd be like, a man giving a woman a massage, touched her inappropriately, the police were called. Like, I think a lot of massage guys probably are trying it. They're just going immediately to jail.
I've never had a male masseuse.
Oh, I usually get male masseuse.
For that
Yeah.
to work, it would have to be women masseuse. That's the only way. That's the only way. If it was a man masseuse and the woman did it, even if it was a secret thing, at the end of it, if the man's like, "Can I finish or can I finger you?" Like it'd just be a disaster.
It just seems so insane to even like bring it up to
Yeah.
a woman at a legitimate massage place.
It totally does.
Because if women want to get fingered a massage, they'll just ask any man to do so.
Right.
I'm just saying, if we want equality in this society, women need to be offered fucking happy endings as well.
And there's just not a market
That's
for
the
it.
glass wall. That's another glass ceiling we need to break. Is
but-
we need to be offered happy endings. I'm not saying that they should just go and like willy nilly just start fingering you after you got a massage, but I'm just saying, like these are things that if we're going to be more equal as genders, this is one of the things that
Probably
we
have
can
a higher likelihood of getting fingered at the dentist than a
It just
massage.
it just
Based on the
seems
news
like
stories I've seen.
it just seems like for that to happen, like you know, like a woman, like I just feel like, help me out here. Like
A woman would have to be like, "Hey, buddy, can you give me something?" Like she'd have to really tell the guy.
She'd
because
have to
otherwise-
bring it up.
Because if the guy's going to bring it up, you're already committing a crime.
Yeah.
And you're
And she
already-
could have. And with men, there's not a worry, so you can be subtextual. You can be like, "Do you mind finishing me off?" And she can be like, "Sure."
But
But
you know
with a
what,
woman,
though?
she'd have to be like, "Can you stick your finger in my vagina right now?"
But see, here's the thing, Marissa. So many guys are just bad at it anyway, and then you're just asking a random guy and hoping he's good at it.
Bad at fingers?
Well,
Bad at everything.
Oh man.
Well, no, there are places you can go for that, but I'm just talking about regular places. Like you can get like yoni massages or like tantric massages that they do that's specifically for that. But I'm just talking about your regular run-of-the-mill place.
Well, you don't go there to get fingered.
No, but I'm not even saying that I would want to, but it's something that bothers me just as same kind of like, oh, well, women have to go down, but men don't have to go down. Well, guys can get happy endings, but girls can't get happy endings.
You know where you should go? I was just thinking. You're talking about from a guy, right? You don't want a happy ending from a woman,
no,
right?
Because
I'm assuming if you went to where your friends are going and just said to those women that do them, "Can you do this?" They probably would because money's money, right? But if you want a guy, you need to go to like a gay spa. I'll bet that.
Oh, they'd probably be freaked
Right.
the fuck out if you.
yeah, they don't want any women.
They'd probably be like,
women
"What?"
parts.
It's
like,
a
oh,
gay
girl, get
spa.
out of here.
What makes it a gay spa
Is that
is
there's
you
no
don't have
women.
women.
Yeah, but they'll be straight for pay.
Straight for pay?
That's an interesting. Actually,
straight
that's
for
an interesting
pay.
thesis.
Yeah,
I mean, the hookers are hookers. I mean,
this is true.
I just think you can't approach a woman and a man the same way. And that's good.
yeah.
That's good that you can't do that.
There's
no,
no
and I'm
glory
not
holes
saying
for chicks.
Yeah.
that
Well, I mean,
You
there's
can't,
be
there's
nice
some
if there
people
were.
that
you can't put a
no.
vagina through a hole.
Well,
That was about the glory hole.
There's
you
no-
could.
you-
but
you can.
You could put his finger there.
And
Yeah.
I'm not going to
Maybe-
put my finger through a hole in a wall. Who knows what's on the other
Oh
side?
my God! By the way, that is like the scariest thing, a glory hole. Because I know a comic he's bi, and he told a story about using a glory hole, and he said like it was great because he was so scared.
Right.
And it's just like that. Can you even fathom putting your dick through a hole and not having any idea who's on the other? Like, it's the how would I honestly? I could not get my dick hard. There's no way.
They obviously
my
like it.
dick
They
would
like,
work.
they like the
I'd be
mystery.
yeah,
so
it's the
scared.
danger.
Yeah.
The danger is the thing that gets you off.
Or just not knowing who it is. You know, you can imagine anyone. You know.
Yeah. But the funny part of the joke for his joke was that at the end of it he gave a fist bump, which I thought was adorable.
Through
the hole.
hole?
Yes, they fist bumped through the hole as a thank you, which I thought was like, oh, okay, it's a happy ending then.
That is
How-
happy. Yeah. Fist
How
bump.
big is this hole?
Big enough for a penis. What do you?
But big enough, but it's obviously big enough for a fist also.
Well,
then.
some penises are the size of fists,
I was
so
gonna
obviously.
say, I mean, penis is very wild.
Right, so you don't wanna,
But if you
like-
had a giant hole capable of holding any penis, then the anonymity would be.
you don't want to have a
Yeah.
glory hole and then find out
Compromised.
Tuna Can Ned can't use it. You want to make sure that everyone can use it.
I mean, what's the likelihood of that being a problem though?
It happens. Some men are enormous. It
Yes.
just happens. You never know. Those men have a right to use glory holes too.
Oh,
Look,
okay.
but I mean,
They
look,
probably don't need glory holes.
Walker,
though.
Yeah.
as you've said before, you've slept with a healthy cross section of humanity.
Now, just curious.
Got a bigger, bigger.
a percentage of the
Where
whole.
does this objective statement come from?
You implied it earlier.
You fucked more
I
people
didn't
than
imply
Thanos
it.
killed.
You stated
Yes.
it, and I didn't deflect it.
You didn't deflect it. Now it's gotten bigger. I feel like originally it was a health section. It became humanity. What was originally?
Humanity.
A cross section of the
Of the-
population?
Oh,
no,
then
I
it
think
became
of the city.
Of the city. Yeah,
It was
now
a
it's
cross
humanity.
By
section
the
of
way,
the city.
is not accurate because up until this last year, I always was in long distance relationships. Thank you very much.
You
No
don't have
one
to-
from this city.
You don't have to protest that much. We know you didn't actually have sex with a healthy percentage of the entire population.
Yes.
A lot of them,
that's
were
accurate.
not healthy.
Yes.
I'm not actually.
anymore.
I'm not concerned about that.
Not after they had sex with Walker. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, me too. Okay.
You were me too. What? All right.
Rude.
She's me too.
Just
I'm
rude.
sorry.
It's the classic nerd can't get the girl, so he makes fun of the girl.
You're an incel, David.
I am not an incel. My celibacy is voluntary. I'm a V-cell. I'm just a cell.
Finally, words describe.
Everyone's
what I am.
Uh-huh.
terrible. Don't worry about it. It's not just you. It's literally everybody.
So we only have like 5 minutes, but I know. I wanted to talk about Cohen, but
It's a shame. I guess we're gonna have to pick it up some other time.
yeah, but like we can briefly get into it.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Michael Cohen is going to go to jail because
Oh.
Donald Trump actually believed that a guy with a law degree can just commit all your crimes for you, and it's covered by confidentiality.
It's like in the Arrested Development where he like thinks that if his wife, he can tell his wife stuff because they're married and it's like confidential, and then Jason Bateman's like, no, that's not true.
Yeah, people are.
It's my lawyer. I can do whatever I want.
And by the way, Michael Cohen, he is the dumbest human being. He looks like
the worst fixer imaginable.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
Ray Sani had a great roast kind of joke. She said he looks like if I know the format is trying. He looks like if Jeffrey Tambor and Droopy Dog had a kid together.
He does look like Droopy Dog. Yeah, he looks. You notice he always like has his chin up. He's got like a mafia pose.
He looks very for a Jew. He looks very Italian.
As a Jew, I know so many of us who just are desperate to look Italian.
Jews have looked so bad this year. I mean, it's just like
it's been a bad year for us.
We're raping everybody, and then Trump uses half the people he uses are Jews, and Israel. It's just a bad year for Jews.
They're all siding with the alt right. They're all like helping Breitbart destroy
They're like
us.
helping Nazis. Like they're like it's just a bad year for Jews.
So there was a Russian
a
Russian company that gave money to Cohen.
They gave him $500,000.
$500,000
shortly after he paid Stormy Daniels because Trump is apparently actually literally broke.
That
Can't even afford his own payoffs.
Not even $130,000. Which again, if he was a good fixer, once the Russians gave him the money, he would have paid Stormy in cash. Yeah. But no.
Well, then if you pay her in cash, then you're going to have proof that you paid her for the NDA to work. So that's the thing, too. You have to have proof that you paid her for the NDA to be enforceable. But also, this is the most important thing, this is how sloppy they've been. The company that paid him, they then found out, created all these pro-Trump websites. That, to me, is not sloppiness.
Well, I think what we've learned...
That's blackmail.
I think what we've learned, in the movies, evil is really smart. In real life, evil is very incompetent.
Usually, yeah.
But then...
Evil's just kind of dumb.
One of the owners of that company is a Russian oligarch that is the father-in-law of the only person that is doing jail time right now because of the Mueller investigation.
Right. Gates, right?
No, the Not
Vandersloot. That's always... Vanderswoon, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
What's Vandersloot? What's that?
Vandersloot is the guy who allegedly definitely killed Natalie Holloway.
Natalie Holloway. Yeah.
I get my Dutch names confused.
Yeah, I get so confused. I keep thinking Andy Cohen, and I know that's wrong. So anyway.
Yeah, there's something. All I can say is that people keep acting like, oh, he gets away with everything. This is like a grave being covered in dirt. Eventually, you're not going to be able to get out of it.
With Trump?
Yeah, and this Michael Cohen thing, we're finding out that he dumped all his crimes onto Cohen because he thought Cohen was this genius who was actually just this lowlife nobody who was trading taxi medallions for loans and is deep in debt. Because that's the thing, all those taxi medallions, they used to be worth $1 million each.
Right.
Now they're worth $100,000 each.
Because of Uber.
But he's so goddamn stupid that he didn't realize that they were going to drop in value. So he suddenly was broke because he had all this collateral.
This is what's so upsetting is that reality is now structured like this TV show where every TV show, the episode is like, will Dexter get caught? Will this happen? And this TV show is, will Trump go down this week? Yeah. And there's always a new thing each week, and then he always survives, just the way Dexter survives.
Well, he survives because Mueller has not brought down the indictment. Mueller is amassing this stuff. Sure. So when everyone keeps saying he's getting away with it, he's not getting away with shit until Mueller says, I'm giving up.
But doesn't it still feel like a TV show where they're just pulling us on?
It does, but that's because Trump is this starfucker who's obsessed with ratings. When those 3 Korean hostages came back, he said, these are the highest ratings they've ever had at 3 a.m. Yeah. Like, how fucking sad a human being are you that is what you're thinking about?
I feel like your Trump impression is kind of like a Jewish grandpa. I mean, not that I've done a lot of great impressions.
Mine is a Jewish grandpa.
That my impressions have been very good.
Are you watching the doc on him? Because it's fascinating.
The Trump one?
Yeah.
Not yet. There was so many, right?
Fascinating. The one that's on Netflix right now.
Oh, yeah.
American Dream or whatever. It is so good.
Yeah.
It's like there was never a time where he wasn't evil and crazy.
People are not going to, when we're old, people are not going to believe us that this was real.
I know.
They're going to be so, and we're going to be the ones saying, no, I thought the same thing. It's fucking crazy.
I think they're going to whitewash it, and we're going to have to tell the kids, oh, no, that's not how it happened at all. He didn't resign.
Isn't it interesting, though, when you live in a time like this, you do say to yourself, this is fucking crazy.
It is. Yeah. But I'll say this. People talk about whitewashing, and someone actually said to me, they're like, the American government would rather let their president be a mole than to admit they got infiltrated. And the reason they're not going to do that is because Donald Trump is so personally embarrassing that it's less embarrassing to say that he was taken in by the Russians than to just say, yeah, this is who we made president. So I think his actual stupidity is going to save us from the whitewashing. Because everyone's going to want to trust me.
I think they want to preserve the office of the president, not the president.
I think you
itself,
do that
but
by
the
destroying
office.
him. I think every single Republican cannot wait to throw him under the bus and destroy him.
So we're gonna wrap this up, and then, but just briefly, where can everyone follow you on social media? What do you have coming up?
Talk to us.
Tell us the things.
You can. My Twitter is at Ranan Comedy, RAANAN Comedy. That's Twitter, and we're doing the Roast of Avengers.
Yes, come see it.
Me and David, a bunch of other great people, Mike Lawrence, Joe Wachowski, whatever. Anyway, and we're doing it. That's this May 18th at 8 p.m. When does this come out?
Shortly before that.
Okay, so yeah, definitely come to see that. It's at the Creek in the Cave, May 18th, 8 p.m. It's gonna be a great show. It's only $5 at the door. And other than that, I don't know. You can check out my album on iTunes, Self Helpless.
Cool.
Walker.
Hi, I am at Trophy Comic on Twitter and on Insta, and I'm usually at New York Comedy Club. Since you don't know when this is coming out, I'm usually there every week, Thursday or Saturday or both. And I'm on the road a fair amount, so please check my Insta. I'm in DC and Baltimore, and I'll be where am I after that? And then I'm in Pennsylvania.
Go to Magoobies?
No, I'm not at Magoobies. I'm actually doing a series of
Pass.
Okay. Follow us on Twitter at The Blamestorm. You can follow me on Twitter at Marissa Smith. And if you enjoyed the show, you guys, please rate us and review us on iTunes. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.